N21 FM, a Pokemon TCG podcast. I am joined today by the author, the cook, the chef behind the modern day Future Box deck, April B. April, please introduce yourself to the good folks at home listening.
Yeah, so I'm April B. I play Pokemon, believe it or not, by me
Wow.
might be being on here. I know it's crazy. I'm native to the Charlotte area, like I think a lot of the guests that you've had on, but I'm an active player in the Asheville area because I'm here for college. But I come back down, to test stuff a bunch of the time, hop into tournaments, go to regionals when there's regionals in Charlotte.
Nice.
All that kind of thing. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. How long have you been playing Pokemon?
So I started, I think it was like 2016. It was like the late X and Y era.
Okay.
I got in, my first set that I started playing during was Steam Siege.
Nice. Great set.
No, says nobody except me. I'm the Steam Siege lover. Look, there's a Professor Sycamore full art. I'll give it that.
Yeah. True.
I played like Evolutions, the first couple sets of Sun and Moon. I think honestly just through Guardians Rising, like maybe one more set after that. And then I kind of dipped out a little bit. I dipped out. Something kind of funny about my story is like I'm always lucky enough to get out right before the worst of the metas. So I dipped out right before Zoroark GX took over. I know it's not the worst, but it was dominant. We were talking earlier. You said I got in right after the Mewtwo Wars kind of stopped happening.
The Mewtwo Wars and like the Evil Tall and whatnot.
I think I had one of those Evil Talls actually. I don't know how I got it.
Nice.
But I just had all these remnants. I'm like, I have a Meloetta EX from Legendary Treasures.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a full art too. It was very cool. And then I dipped right before Zoroark GX. I got in like tag team era.
Okay.
The most fun time.
Oh yeah, that was the time.
And I was playing a couple different tag team decks there. Got out right before Sword and Shield base drop, so I avoided the worst of ADP.
That's so good. I'm so happy for you.
I am too. I kind of wish I got to play it though.
Yeah.
Like I guess I could do it online. I could build some goofy expanded stuff, but
True.
it was a choice of them to print that.
Yeah. It was such a choice. They even gave it to like PTCGO players. They would just decided to make like an ADP deck when Sword and Shield was still pretty new. And it was such an insanely competitive deck that there was just like a precon on the online game that
Really?
I came back to Pokemon after a crazy long hiatus, booted it up, saw that I had that deck, and I'm like, that looks fun, and that seems like a really good ability. So I picked it up and immediately was crushing. So
yeah,
if that tells you anything about ADP.
Who knew that taking extra prize cards every time is like...
And doing more damage with every attack. Don't forget that.
30 more, right? Like a really important break point.
Like a full damage mod, yeah.
Oh my god. So I avoided that. And then I didn't play actually the entirety of the Sword and Shield block. Too busy being in high school and being sad to play Pokemon, I guess.
Makes good sense.
And then I got back in pretty recently because a friend on Discord was actually talking about how much they hated Lost Box, and I was like, what does that mean? And so I hopped in and started playing like right before Paradox Rift dropped.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, I'm pretty new back to the scene. But I've been having a lot of fun, and I just avoided Lugia too, so that...
Yeah, you certainly did avoid Lugia.
Some people think it's good again, and I think they're kind of crazy.
It will never be as good as it was.
It'll never be tier 0.
It'll never be tier 0 like it was.
As long as you're running...
Gross.
As long as you need a coin flip to find your Archeops, I'm not convinced your deck is good.
True. That deck is literally just a trip to the casino.
It really is. I love that thing. It's so bad.
I think it's going to be pretty good. It'll be fine. It'll do things that other decks don't do. They'll do them semi-consistently.
They need Noivern so Future Hands doesn't obliterate them.
Yeah.
Like, it's goofy. But yeah, I have my opinions on... I've played all sorts of decks over the years. I started like late X and Y, everybody's favorite. Just kidding, only my favorite. Volcanion. I'm the Volcanion lover. I collect all the Volcanion arts. I'm almost done. I've almost gotten it.
True.
But I loved that old Volcanion deck. There's a video on YouTube out there somewhere of me like being 10 years old, showing off my Volcanion EX deck list.
That's sick.
It's real bad. I will not be doxing myself on that one.
Good choice.
But like, goofy thing about that. I had one Shaman, right? Because that was a $60 card.
Yeah.
And so I ran my Shaman in that list, and somebody commented in that video like, "You're like 6 years old and you have Shamans," and I recall responding to them like, actually, I'm in middle school." And like, I didn't elaborate past that because I was in 5th grade, which is not middle school.
So you
most
were
places.
lying
No.
about being in middle school.
At my school, middle school was 5th grade. 5th grade was the start of middle school. I went to a good school.
Interesting.
So I wasn't technically lying. I was just being
That is
disingenuous.
something. Yeah, for sure.
And then I played Greninja Break for a little bit, which apparently you hadn't really heard of before.
I'd heard about it, but not until I hadn't like known much of the abilities. Yeah. I do love Greninja cards though that have like that pinging effect.
It's great. It was hampered by the fact that it was literally a stage 3 deck, and like it's a little tough to get like, I need to rare candy into my Greninja and then evolve it again into Greninja Break. But when you did, you just obliterated board states and then stopped abilities. And then you also had one of the other Greninja that just also had the regular Water Shuriken, because Greninja Break was giant Water Shuriken, so discard 1, 6 anywhere. Then you just had on your bench a regular Greninja that was like discard 3 anywhere. So you just
I think I have that Greninja specifically.
Yeah, that one's cool. I liked, but then you ran like the I think it was the Shadow Stitching Greninja was the one you ran for your 3 other Greninjas. Even Wally couldn't make that deck good, like consistent. That's the thing.
That's
like,
crazy,
right? And we just got like a worse Wally reprint, and it's still like a card.
I will not be tolerating Salvatore slander.
It's objectively worse than Wally. It's
because Wally's broken.
Wally is broken. That'd
be like saying that Refinement Curly is an objectively worse Genesect V, because it has to be.
Professor Burnett is an objectively worse Battle Compressor.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a much more fair analogy than what I said.
Fair enough. That one's the funniest example, that they turned that item into a supporter and still made it worse.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I played in like the tag team era. I tried a couple things. I tried like the not good tag teams, just one because I think I couldn't afford like Pikarom and Mew Mew. But I just like wanted to do other stuff. I was like, I'll play Garchomp Giratina because Double Dragon still like just barely. I think Double Dragon just rotated broken out there card before that. Insane card. I love it. It's why Lugia is good and expanded. But I ran some of the Giratina Garchomp. That was a fun deck. And then I did a little bit of the Reshiram Zekrom, which was unfortunately bad, which is crazy.
So sad.
It was like double 160 snipe on its GX attack, and it was still bad, which tells you like everything you need to know about that era.
Yeah, because 160 snipe twice is good now.
Yeah,
like that's pretty good.
You know what's better than 160 snipe twice?
What?
30 more damage extra prize card for the entire rest of the game.
You know what? I think you're right about that.
That's I don't know. I don't want to think about that card anymore.
Yeah, ADP good card. Broken card even.
Broken card. I started playing again. Yeah, I said Paradox Rift, and I've tried a couple things throughout then. I've been super hyped for this rotation because this is like the first rotation where I like think I'm smart enough to actually try to like start working on stuff.
Yeah.
And not just like scrounge up my pocket change that I got from like helping out at the local school or whatever and be like, I'm gonna go buy one Volcanion EX, please. I actually don't even know how I got those because I wasn't really buying singles at the time.
Yeah, what the heck?
I think I just opened a lot of Steam. I genuinely don't know how I got my cards, except the Shaman. I know how I got the Shaman.
How'd you get the Shaman?
I pulled, because Rainbow Rares were cool at first, right?
Yes.
People were tired of them. Sun and Moon Base. At my only pre-release I went to Sun and Moon Base, I pulled a Rainbow Solgaleo GX, which was fire, and I traded it for a full art Shaman.
Nice.
And I don't know if I stand by that decision. A lot of people judge me for it, but it let me build a deck that had a Shaman in it. So,
I think that's pretty based. I would say that's probably
neither
optimal.
of them. Yeah, neither of them are really worth anything now. I guess Solgaleo's like $10 more, but like I don't have most of my old cards.
Who does? Everybody's gone through the rite of passage that is getting rid of all your old cards.
And then realizing GLC exists.
Yeah, well, and then like realizing GLC exists for one, and then also realizing that was like an entire college fund that you could have had in that binder.
I was a little more lucky. I did trade it to like an LGS, so I got like credit for it.
Oh, that's good.
Like, yeah, after I did that though, I like a month after like is when I started playing. I traded it so I'd have money to like build a deck to play now, and then I realized like I really wish I kept my like Hollow Generations Charizard, or like
that'd be a good choice.
or like what was it? I don't know how I got it. I had like a non-holo Dark Charizard from Rocket that was in terrible condition, just in my bulk, and I'm like, I wasn't born then. How did I have this? And I got like $20 for that. So
Okay.
it would have been cool to hold on to. It wasn't in good condition, but I bet the LGS I sold it to still hasn't actually sold
I
it
bet
yet.
you anything. Yeah.
I should go buy it from them.
You should. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Hey guys, I know I'm scamming myself, but it's cool.
It happens.
It happens.
Oh man. Well, that's awesome. So
That's
you've got
my prolonged story.
yeah, you've got a lot of experience with the game then. That's really, really cool. Do you have any favorite Pokemon that, or have like any Pokemon that have become like you've become really attached to that is a result of playing them in a deck or like on a team or anything?
I think like I might have played the card game before I actually played the video game. I think they were right around the same time. Sun and Moon's my generation, so I think those timing would have been pretty similar. I'm a big Gen 7 fan just because it's
Gen
the
7
one
is
I grew
good.
up with. Yeah, Gen 7 was so good. I know a lot of people hated on it, but like,
Yeah.
how many other games had like a Pokemon boss fight that OHKO'd your entire team? Like,
True.
Ultra Necrozma was also one of my favorites, but not for the card game. I think the obvious pick is probably Volcanion, just because like Volcanion's an objectively stupid Pokemon that like is just some weird mountain that makes steam, but like Fire Water is an awesome typing, and
So
it was one of the only dual types too.
Yeah.
And so like the card itself was Fire Water type,
Yeah.
and that's cool as hell. I loved that, and like Steam Up was just such a fun way to play. It's just like I attack with a single prizer that hits for enough to OHKO anything just because I discarded a bunch of fire energies from my hand.
It makes me wish the metal type Skeletor GX was any good in standard right now.
It's such a bummer
because it's also like the exact same Volcanion too.
It's even like I guess it's a stage 2, but like it's 60 more damage and all your Pokemon, not just your fire types.
Yeah.
Which is like awesome. Like there was this weird rogue list I saw that was like an Arczard Skeledirge deck that somebody ran at like one Japanese tournament, and I like net decked that into PTCGL, and it's just so fun to like OHKO with Trinity Nova because it applies there.
I'll do you one better. Somebody ran that joint. I think it was For the Win TCG, who ran like a straight up just Lost Origins Cramorant. And relied on using Lost Vacuums in Chorus's experiments to get 4 in the Lost Zone, and just swings for free.
That's a build.
It was surprisingly effective at the time. I was honestly kind of impressed.
What early Lost Box builds must have been?
Early Lost Zone builds were crazy. I think nothing really got solidified until LAIC. I think it was LAIC where Tord kind of debuted Sablezard.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did that.
Yeah,
I forgot that like several he didn't debut Gardevoir, but he like made Gardevoir good.
He definitely popularized it for sure.
Yeah, is like that man.
We don't have to talk about him.
Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX.
It's okay. We don't have to talk about him. I don't.
Fine,
this podcast is too young to be starting beef.
No. All respect. Easily. Anybody that can bring that garbage to a top 8.
Yeah, anything that can bring a commander deck to a Pokemon tournament and still like do well with it, I guess.
I did the math. If you opened a pack of every standard legal format, you could get 57 of the 60 cards in that list. It's conceptually possible.
Insane.
Like just one pack of like Obsidian Flames, there's one pack of Scarlet Violet, one pack of Lost Origin. You get it's nuts.
Brutal.
It is nuts.
Wild. So
good
cool.
player.
Really good player. Anyway,
I'm better. I could beat him.
So true. Yeah. Tord's never played Future Box.
No. Yeah. Honestly, probably hasn't. You know. Probably would still lose in the mirror.
Hey, listen, that's okay. We all do it sometimes. But speaking of Future Box and just kind of like the new format in general, you talk me through the process of how you came to be like obsessed with Future Box and perfecting it, and like all these new builds. Because you and I have I'm not gonna expose you like this, but we have I'll spare the details, but we have a fairly long conversation dating back months of you just like, here's the new build.
It's me just posting garbage and trying it out, playing against myself because it was an update on BTCGL and I didn't have people at my locals yet. Because I was working on this like I think late January.
Wild.
And so like nobody was playing post rotation late January, but I was like I'm done with this format. I brought Charizard EX to Charlotte, and
Yeah.
then I did pretty well for my first regional, and I'm like, all right, I want to play something else now. Like
Yeah.
I want to do that. I got burnt out of the format pretty quickly, and which is like kind of a bummer because this format is like real good if you think about the fact like the sheer variety of everything.
Yeah.
But like then the things just stopped being changed at all, and it's just like I know the 6 decks I'm gonna see, and it's so privileged to say that when like Lugia existed.
Yeah.
It's just like, but I wanted to not have to.
No, I get it. It's also kind of a situation where like the stuff that we're getting, or I guess we have now in Temporal Forces, is
we have
interesting in the way it plays that like all of the old stuff just doesn't seem interesting anymore. Like drawing cards with Mew or with Gardevoir is just like, oh, that's cool, I guess. But also like, what if I could just play one prize Arceus? Or like, what if I could mill myself and also smoke my opponent with a single prize deck?
It's nuts. It feels like just losing E-Block alone fundamentally alters kind of everything.
Yes,
and like
absolutely.
This is even still kind of true with Zard, except into late game. It feels like a lot less of an OCO format just from like the little bit of testing, which is nice because Future Box doesn't always OCO. Like some builds can.
OCO formats are just not fun either because it's like, do you have the nuts turn 1 or do you not? Like,
it's not great, but yeah. So when I saw like. Because Paldean Fates, it's a cool set. Don't get me wrong. It screwed up everything. I didn't want to play. It's the same format.
It's the same format.
You get
we got Moonlit Hill.
Yeah. Guardy has another way to one-shot Zard, and Zard has another way to resist Devo. That's all Paldean Fates did. That's literally it. But
also there were so many impactful E-Block cards. I've got like bulk trainers from E-Block in front of me, like losing like Clara, Raihan, Fog Crystal, Melanie.
Just thinking, like Gardevoir is what I'm running until the. I'm okay with that.
No, I love Echoing Horn.
It's a silly card.
I love it.
There should be some text on it that says you can't play this card if you run a card with the name Snorlax in your deck.
True, I agree.
Then it would be fine. There was just because I picked up Gardevoir just before rotation happened, or I guess it technically still hasn't even happened yet. But I picked it up like just because I'm like, oh, this deck seems kind of fun. I like stage 2 decks. That's why I played Zard for a bit. Gardevoir is way more fun than Zard because you actually use the stage 1 too.
True.
That's at least my opinion. And so like I'm playing that for like one more League Cup at least before rotation happens. But like it's crazy just sitting there and being like, wow, we lose Shining Arcana, Mirage Step, Zacian V, Fog Crystal, Battle VIP, Level Ball.
Yeah.
Like it
feels bad.
Mew. That's the other one.
Mew Celebrations.
Level Ball Fog Crystal is what makes that deck good, right?
Yeah, because you can search stuff.
Yeah. And like I still think it's like playable post rotation. You completely change how the deck works. Don't get me wrong. It's like an Arvin build now with like Buddy Poffin. But like as long as your opponent doesn't run more than one Lost Vacuum, it's a fun deck.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Future Box, that's what we were talking about.
Definitely, yeah. Tell me about how that came to be.
When all the first leaks were coming of like, here's what's going to come up in what is it, Cyber Judge Wild Force?
Yeah.
Where I think Temporal Force is in Japan. People like started like there was all these posts like TDK is back.
Yep.
And like I started looking into this, and TDK was before my time. Like my first time was late X and Y. I never played like Plasma era. But like I started looking into this, and I'm like, this is cool. I was so tired of playing Charizard. I'm like, I want to do a box deck, you know? Like, I do the same thing every game.
Box decks are so fun.
And then I just do the same. Yeah, box, though, I have options. It plays different depending on my matchup. I started looking at all these cards. And for a while there, for like at least a month and a half, if you Googled like future box deck, there was nothing. There was literally
absolutely nothing
that came up.
There was a lot of ancient box.
Yeah.
Zero
that's true.
future.
I started it like off the skeleton of like some YouTube video this one person uploaded. Like, I've never tested this, but this looked good to me. No disrespect, nobody had tested it, but it was just like, I'll try this, and I was like, they're running a bib engine. I don't want to run evolutions in this deck,
right?
And it was just like a 2-month process of like, people said TDK was fun. I want to try to make this a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through so many iterations. The first build was like the baby Iron Valiant with the majestic sword. That like if there was good future supporters, that's how the deck should be played. But
If
it's
there
just
was a good future supporters,
like the ancient support Explorer's Guidance isn't even that great, but it's super useful.
I
It just
I
to
think it's
get one.
great. I love it.
I've gone back and forth. I think it's good because it's an ancient supporter.
Yeah.
Like just chucking 4 cards of your top 6 sucks. Unless you're running ancient box or like a baby moon list. So, you know,
Right.
it's good
Anything
in
that
those.
can play out of this card, which you totally
Yeah,
can.
absolutely.
It's why Chorus's Experiment would be a also pretty crappy card if it wasn't for the Lost Zone decks.
Yeah. It's tough. I see more like Zardless running a 1 of Chorus like post rotation. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah. But back to future though.
Yeah, the 2 future supporters, like you have Cypher Maniac, which is a good card in Bib decks. Future has no onboard draw without like Mew EX.
Right.
So like it's bad. And then Turo is literally pointless because Penny is just better because all the futures are basics.
Yeah.
And so
But
no reason to
Turo's
run
a switch
those.
though. You could totally.
It's always bad.
No, it's a bad card. It's a bad card.
It's good in like Gardevoir, but like it's so not good. The future supporters don't synergize with the future Pokemon, which is a real bummer.
Yeah.
And so over time, I just had to do changes. Here are my attackers now. Here are the attackers. Blah 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 blah. Here's the engine. And then eventually I got to a point, I think, where it's just like, I overcooked this. We kind of agreed on this. And I took a step back. I looked at the list Andrew Mahone actually uploaded, which was one of the first lists anybody, like any American uploaded a list with like their future box stuff. Because I was still like browsing, some of those, the crazy like first test Japanese lists. And I'm like, some of these are insane and some of these are kind of cool. I went back and looked at Andrew Mahone's list. I'm like, I'm going to try this. And then make changes based on what these like 2 months of testing with this box got me.
Yeah.
And seeing what happens here. And I think I've finally arrived at a list. Like, obviously, I'm going to make more changes. Of course, I'm going to make more changes. I can't be happy with anything I do. It has to be perfect. But like, I have something now that I feel is powerful and consistent. And I don't. It's not going to be a tier 1 deck. Maybe it's maybe. But like, I think it is something that the right pilot can absolutely make really strong and super well. And I have had a lot of fun with it, and I'm so happy rotation happened on live, so now I can actually get more chances to test out changes without having to shadow box myself.
It is so nice that that live already has the new set rotated, because I'm kind of in the same camp. Like I've been waiting on rotation. I am a known Mew VMAX enjoyer. So
we all have our flaws.
There's some bittersweetness with the rotation happening. Yeah. But also, I'm so thrilled for this new stage of the game where, because this is my second rotation, and it feels so much better this time than last time. Because the last
like, we get to play the game now.
Last time I was just on life support, and I was like, this is how I escape. This is how I get out of this. Man, it was
I didn't even
brutal.
realize. I was just like, oh, Lugia had Evo Insets. I didn't even realize the special energy that Lugia had.
Discarded.
In D-Block.
Oh my gosh, the special energy was crazy. It was insane. The fact that you could get Amazing Rare Eviltal up in one turn is... Yeah, I don't like to think about that format.
At least the Amazing got play.
Yeah, true. It makes me hopeful that like some of the janky cards we get now, like Scoville and... Wait! Oh my gosh! Side note: that is the card I was thinking of earlier. I think it's Scoville. No, that's a different card.
Scovillain's a retreat lock, right?
Yeah, it's retreat lock. I'm tripping. Never mind. I got really excited. I thought that I figured out the card that I was thinking of.
There's some stage one out there that
shuffles
like just a Pokemon into your opponent's deck. Apparently, unless you're tripping.
I could be tripping. Yeah, for those watching right now at home, we spoke briefly about this about another deck coming out in the next format, or I guess the current format on live, the Salvatore box, which we'll talk about it more in a second, but I could have sworn there was a stage 1 Pokemon that lets you shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon into the deck. And if you can find out what card that is, please leave it in the comments below. I need to find out what that...
$5 if it's not real. I've decided.
That's fine.
If it's not real.
That's fine.
Wait, really? I need money, so that works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting checks now from Workers' Comp, so I can totally hook you up.
Sweet. Let's go.
But for sure,
Leech.
Anyway, the point of that is, what was the point of that? What were we talking about? We were talking about
New stuff in the format.
Yeah,
that's
new stuff in the
that's
format.
fun and goofy and very different from
Draw
Zard,
Card.
Miraidon, Gardevoir, Lustina. Just
I'm
over and over again.
excited to see this. Like I said, it's my second rotation, so I'm excited to see, like, this isn't just me fighting for my life to stay afloat, right?
Right.
Like, right now in the format, the one that's technically right now, because we haven't rotated in person quite yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great format. There's a lot of variety, and while, like, some of the decks, like, I don't love to see over and over again, like,
yeah,
I know that the amount of build variety we're getting is going to be so good, because there's different, like, gameplay styles to it that are
for sure.
And that's what I'm most excited about, is that there's going to be so many different ways to play different decks. Like, we haven't even seen the goobers who are going to put ancient Pokemon into, like, the Lost Zone decks.
Yeah, like,
which I know that is coming.
Interesting.
I'm kind of scared for it, but I mean, it'll be here one way or the other. It'll be here.
What is it? The one thing I'm excited about is, like, I'm sure people have talked about this, but I haven't seen it said explicitly, is, like, Temporal Forces is, like, there are interesting control decks now. Like, I don't know if it's Temporal Forces specifically or losing E or whatever it is, but people are, like, cooking up control lists that aren't just Blocklax.
I love that.
Like, I know Pidgeot control existed and honestly didn't really seem to get popular until, like, this last month, unless I'm being crazy and misremembering something. And, like, but now that also is going to be there. We have, so, you know, a way to play Snorlax that isn't completely degenerate. And then there's, you got Great Tusk Mill. There's going to Salvatore Bayonet item lock.
I'm so excited.
Is playable. Like, Salvatore, honestly, single-handedly, I think brings a lot of the control viability. But also Great Tusk is, like, I would so much rather play against Mill than Stall. I don't even fully feel comfortable calling Blocklax control sometimes. Like, it's, I know you can play it skillfully, but it doesn't feel like it.
It's a deck that, when you're piloting it, you feel like you're making really important decisions every turn, but when you're playing against it, you just see, like, an iPad kid drooling on their cards.
Right, it's crazy. Like,
it's really bad.
I saw some posts on, like, the competitive Pokemon TCG Reddit today where somebody was like, I want to bring Blocklax to my local league because it's, like, cheap and, like, a deck I can play. Well, people get mad at me, and I'm like, I get that it's yeah, they will, and, like, I get that it's cheap, and it sucks that that's the most affordable meta deck.
Yeah,
like, it's really lame, especially with, like, it's gonna be playing Heroescape, which will probably be one of the cheaper good ace decks.
Yeah.
But, like, everyone's like, yeah, like, if you're bringing it to a cup or, like, I get that. Like, it still sucks. But, like, if you're bringing that to a league to play, and I'm like, hey, want to play a game? And they're like, yeah. And they flip over a Snorlax. I'm like,
I'm breaking your fingers.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm like, hey, I want to test this matchup. This matchup is bad. If you have Snorlax as a deck you can bring, good. Like, some people need to test their matchups.
Yeah, it's good to have a Snorlax deck. I would like to have a Snorlax deck.
Right?
But I'm not gonna main it.
No, like, if you flip that, it's like a casual league environment. Like, we need to play to get our prize back. Or whatever.
If we're just
and you flip
doing
a Blocklax, and there's not immediately a Pidgey hitting your bench, I'm conceding. Like, it's just, I'm here to have fun.
I don't want to play this. I don't want to, this, like, the entire runtime of Dune could go on while we're playing this game.
Oh yeah. But, like, you flip Tusk, I think I'll be like, well, this is silly. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Watch you chuck my reboot pod. It'll be
and Mill is a cool strategy too. Like, one of the best games of Pokemon I've ever played in my life. I don't know if I've told this story on the cast before, but it was at Charlotte Regionals last year. It was my first regional ever, and I was picking a rogue deck because I'm a dirty hipster who thinks that they can play something that's not meta and do really well.
You totally can. That's me with Future Box right now. I'm just pretending that I know what I'm doing.
So I played Paul Quintelion into peak Silver Tempest Lugia, like a bozo.
That's a choice.
Well, I had the Alolan Vulpix in as the tech and, like, wash energy to avoid the Evil Tall. So I had thought it through, but I wasn't an experienced enough player to do anything good with it. But I lost my first couple rounds and I wound up in just the goober brackets. And the best game I played all day was against a guy also from North Carolina, I think just a little bit north, who was playing Durant Mill.
I love that deck. It's so bad.
It's so terrible. But it was so fun because he was, first of all, super chill guy, very
Oh, yeah.
enjoyable person to play against. I think that's part of why I started the podcast, is like the people you sit across from when you play Pokemon cards at regionals and even at local events are some of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. And sitting down and like being able to talk with them and learn about them while you play a game is so much fun. So this guy was really incredible to hang out with and play a game. But then on top of that, the game was really down to the wire. And this is just par for the course with mill decks, is you never expect it to be down to the wire, but it is every time. So
there's no way milling 4 every turn will actually get them enough to deck me out.
Right.
That's like 4 cards. I've run 60.
Yeah, exactly. But so he takes game 1, and I'm mad at myself because of course I am. But like it happens. Time gets called in the middle of our game 2. But we have just enough time left in turns that on like the last turn of the game, in time, I have 1 prize card left. Again, he's got like an active Durant, but the turn before he had played Yellhorn, so I was confused. My Palkia was confused. His Durant was confused. So the entire match came down to a coin flip.
Oh my god!
In time for the last prize card, just for me to tie it up. And I was like, I'll take a tie. It'll be fine. But we both popped off because it landed on heads. I got the attack, got the win. We both were funny. We like jumped. We were kind of looking foolish because we were both like yelling a little bit. We're like, let's go! Like it was so exciting.
Usually just one of you would be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's happening?
It was such a wholesome interaction.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm done with the tournament for the day. I'm just gonna go home. You can have the win. And I was like, oh, word? So but yeah, so like one of my favorite games. Mill decks are so cool, and I'm so glad that there's one in the format that doesn't suck.
Right. Like, what was the closest we had? A Chi-Yu and Snorlax? Oh, Durant too. Yeah, that's
Durant. There was Wug Trio for a minute.
I once played a game on live against somebody running like Gyarados Wug Trio, which is like some mill garbage.
Yeah, I think
they attacked like 4 or 5 times and flipped tails on every single coin flip. And I'm never touching this deck.
That's terrible.
Like, it's
that person should play Lugia.
Right, yeah. That's
they'd have a great time.
Play my Lugia build that runs Pokeball and Ambipom.
Oh my gosh. What a deck.
It's fun. It's fun.
But there's so much. Yeah, there's Mill. There's some cool control. The Ursaluna control deck is bananas. I love that.
I've seen some crazy. I need to watch that in practice because I've just heard of it and I'm like, a stage 2 active control deck?
It's very much like Bigfoot, because you hear a lot about it, but it is so hard to find like somebody piloting it really well online.
That has to be a crazy skill-based deck, right? That just seems incredibly hard. Like, I want to run Pidgeot control on live, but I'm like, I'm too stupid for this. I don't know when to put my Radiant Zard in play. I'll probably just end up playing Blocklax, and I don't want to be that person, you know? Like,
right? Yeah, no. And what's some other cool archetypes? I think Ancient Box is cool. Being able to self mill and then like have all these little options for different attackers is cool.
I am still not totally sold on Koraidon though. Like, no VIP makes Koraidon like kind of not great.
Yeah,
a friend of mine, shout out Lily, how you doing? It cooks up this crazy moon list, like Mooniax Baby Moon, just like trim the fat of like Ancient Box and just like go full in on the Vengeance Fletching or the Frenzied Gouging and like the Zard matchup and stuff.
Yeah, and
I like it a lot. It's like entirely items, and every Pokestop she does is like Prime Catcher, Dark Patch, and an Ancient that she needed to chuck to get the math right. It's crazy. I
think I played against her list once. It was really, really good.
Oh yeah, it's a scary deck. I genuinely feel kind of bad about this sometimes. Future Box has a really hard time with it unless I tech in 1 Bravery Charm. And like, I'm going the route of like Bravery Charm actually seems maybe kind of good as a one of in the list for like a couple matchups. So if you're seeing, I promise it wasn't just to counter you, Lily. I promise it's not. There's other reasons. It's good against like other Ancient Box lists. And
it's a good card. It's okay.
I'm so sad I bent my one Bravery Charm because I put it in an ETB and like the foil ripped. It's so sad.
That is so sad.
It was like with a prize pack hollows.
Oh no, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate. But we've talked a little bit about what's coming up next. Let's talk about what's leaving. We just had kind of our last tournament with E-Block Legal, and it was a doozy.
It was something. It was something. I
Let me pull up
I don't
the
think.
results for it
Oh yeah.
real
I
quick.
don't know if like I've seen a lot of people kind of crapping on Maridon lately, and I'm like, I was kind of one of them too, to be
Yeah.
honest. Kind of uninformed. 2 top 8, and Maridon won the tournament.
Yeah.
Like
Rhydon's a good deck.
It is a good deck. It's also a deck that can beat Blacklax.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I am so glad Blacklax was not like the last regional win in this format.
That would have been really sad for me.
Yeah, the fact that it got top 2 is like upsetting enough already. It got second place. Like I watched the matchup too. Like I watched a couple. I think I watched in total the round 8 and 9 streams that they did, and then I just watched like a top 8 and the finals.
Yeah.
But like the that finals was kind of tough actually. The Lax player just got like really unlucky. I'm not gonna lie. Like second game they prized 2 Lax and just had to bench a V every game, even though Spiritomb was in play.
That sucks.
And so like it was tough. I don't feel too much empathy for them. I feel a little bit more empathy for them because like it is like look, you got $7,000 for playing Black Lax.
I feel empathy for them as a person.
Yes.
Who got totally like shafted when it came to their draws and their luck in the game. Yeah. But as a Snorlax player specifically, F that guy.
Yeah. No, we don't need more enemies. You already told me this about Tord. We can't.
This is true.
We can't start beefing. It's not a good idea.
Just a joke.
Yeah, don't
in Minecraft.
On a similar note, the of a moment of I feel real bad for this player, but this is kind of satisfying for the deck. You would fully disagree with this, I know, but Mew VMAX's final appearance at a regional on a stream was just the first round was pretty all right. The first game was pretty all right. Turn 1 loss, game 2.
Brutal.
Like getting Mew VMAX getting donked.
Breaks
There's something
my heart.
Poetic though. There's something poetic about it to a deck. A deck that draws every single one of its cards. And hits every heads on cram and always has what it needs because it's the most absurdly resourceful deck ever printed. It's just I Genesect for 5 card every turn 4 times. Yeah. Mew, pass, and lost.
Brutal.
Like it's
you did everything you could.
You did everything. The path actually helped because Maridon player had Lumineon in hand, so
yeah,
they had to hit the generator.
What was the Maridon start? Did they have like a Maridon in the active?
There was a Maridon on the bench. They like nestballed for it.
Okay, had, so they could have if Path wasn't there, they could have also grabbed all their goons.
Yeah, that too. There was something there. I just know I was just watching. They hit like a double electric generator, attached double turbo escape rope or something. It was Look, the gambling deck that is Maridon won that gamble, and the deck that is barely a gambling deck lost.
It only gambles a little bit.
It only gambles its crams, and then when it fails the crams, it draw 2 more card.
It do draw 2 more card, and this
that
one,
deck did not. They were not drawing cards.
Only ran 3 cram, which is interesting. I saw a handful of decks running that. I disagree with it. I have a different build, but
4 cram.
Whew, that's a heartbreaker for sure. I wish
it got a top 8. You know?
I'm sure there's some people who felt absolute like catharsis watching this BBEG Mew VMAX like get this like just go out with an absolute whimper.
Who are these people? I don't know them.
But
I've never heard of them. It's a little sad. Okay, I have a little bit of sadness about it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I got you a little bit hooked on Mew like right before it went out.
Turning me into a drug addict is not a form of like good. I don't like it. Okay, it just. I like draw card. That's why I play Guardian.
It's a good card.
It's a good card.
No, but yeah, it's a very interesting, not even really surprising top 8. It looks pretty good.
Minus the lax. You have, I think.
Has
there been a lax?
It's been a while since we've
North
seen
America.
Oh yeah, there definitely has been.
I know it won. What was it? Gdansk? Was that what Lax won? I didn't know we had seen one like do that well in North America yet.
Let me look at Snorlax still. It did first in what tournament? In the I can't pronounce that. I'm not gonna try.
Is it the Polish one?
Or is that
Gwenia? Oh,
I don't know.
I just know the regionals. That might be a regional I didn't
There
hear
was
of,
it 6th place in Utrecht. It did
Okay.
3rd in Fukuoka.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has it placed in North America yet? Like, was it?
I don't see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get.
Darn Americans don't know how to.
Yeah, you
stall
guys
their
suck.
opponent.
Americans,
Yeah.
get your stall play higher.
Get
Do
better
better.
at Snorlax. Don't actually, please.
Please
I
don't. I'll cry.
Uh,
In Liverpool, it was 4th. In
okay.
in
It's not North
Charlotte, it was
America.
10th. By Cal Connor.
Really?
It was Cal Connor.
Oh yeah. Well, 10th is in top 8, so we're gonna pretend
True.
that doesn't count.
San Antonio, Cal Connor also 5th place. And
Chris.
Hale Obernolte 8th place in San Antonio. Same tournament.
There was two.
San Antonio was
top 8.
San Antonio was a big stall deck, like stall tourney.
Yeah.
That was
I
like the
think
one where
San
there was like a
Antonio
million
was-
stall players.
I think San Antonio was like a couple weeks before I got into the game, or maybe it was like before I knew what was happening. I think. So.
But yeah, cool top 8. It makes me sad that we didn't see some other cool decks. One thing that I'm super hyped about, 18th place was the Zoroark box.
Yeah,
that
watched.
Deck finally got the justice it deserved.
I think it was on stream for round 8. I don't know if it was the same player. It was probably the same player. Nobody else was doing that with Zorobox.
Right.
But like I watched. Who was the name? Does it say the name of the Zorobox player there?
It does. That would be. Hold on. I was looking on the deck. Kobe Kawasaki.
I'm pretty
Kawasaki,
sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was who was like round 8 on the stream. I caught that. It's like, it's so fun to watch Zorobox against Zard. It was a bummer. It went to a draw on time, which is probably good because Zorobox prized their Scavalion.
No.
In the 3rd game, so like they probably would have lost that if that got played out.
Yeah.
But like the one game where Zorobox actually got to like kind of crap all over Zard was very fun to watch.
It's just such a cool deck.
Just always knowing that they have that slow bro, just ready to go if you mismanage like your approach. The
slow bro is
so
bananas.
Scary.
It's so good.
You have to disrupt them out of like what they have in hand to do that.
You have to respect it too, and that's another thing. Again, and we'll talk about it in a second with the Salvatore deck. That's another Salvatore target.
I was gonna say like what do you do about that, right? Or something even. I was playing somebody at like my local league here in Asheville. That's running this like. Oh, I don't even remember what they were running. They were running some silly stuff, but they had like 2 outs to immediate slow bro. They had Salvatore, but also because of the way Thornton is worded, you can Thornton another basic into the slowpoke and then evolve it if it's been in play for a turn. So then,
dope.
I love Thornton. I'm a Thornton.
Thornton is sick. Salvatore is sick. Great cards.
Oh yeah.
Zoroark, great card. Sad to see it go.
It's really. I'm so sad it wasn't as good as like it should have been better. It's so cool. It's just having access to all those stage ones.
Yeah, I guess neat. we kind of get like a spiritual successor in the Salvatore decks because they also kind of like cheat out stage 1s.
Yeah. Was Zoroark no rule boxes specifically, or did people just choose not to do rule boxes?
You choose not to normally. Because
for prize trade reasons,
and because reversal didn't work for rule box Pokemon.
Yeah.
But there was a brief list that ran one Oinkologne EX to tank.
Oh,
which is pretty cool.
Goofy guy.
I like
That's
that.
pretty cool.
I
do kind of look forward to like that Salvatore is just like kind of spiritual successor thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, but like it's control now, and like
which is so cool. I'm excited about it. Another control-esque strategy. A lot of people would probably disagree with that, but let me see. What's this placing? It was 37th. Was the Rapid Strike box? Another one that I'm really sad to see go.
That is tragic. It's
such a cool deck.
Is that like? I think it's considered a spread deck, right? Like it's
considered
like a
spread,
weird
but
pseudo.
It
like
plays
not
the most.
Proper spread.
It plays more closely to a control deck because you've got stuff like Echoing Horn, and because it's all about like. I guess it is more spread because you're not making your opponent use their resources, and you're just kind of spreading damage and then capitalizing off of it with the Metacham V. But
anytime a VMAX is able to be like even playable in the current meta, it's
cool.
like really impressive. Because like we have 330 HP 2 prizers. Why would I play a 310 HP 3 prizer? But like
also the 2 prizers that are stage 2s just hit so much harder than Urshifu does.
Yeah, like
Oh, you hit for 150, but you have to have moved from the active this turn. Also, if you sequence
no.
it wrong and don't evolve before you move, you don't do the extra damage. That's happened to me.
it's oh,
And then Charizard's like, I'm just gonna do 330 damage.
it's such a
Oh, plus
so,
choice belt 360.
are we gonna look back at Zard as like one of the more broken cards? Because like
Absolutely.
there's counterplay to it, right? Where like something
There
like
will
I don't
be
know,
more
even,
counterplay to it.
like if it was, I mean, at least the only reason that Mewtwo was as good as it was, Mewtwo Wars, is because it's weak to itself, right?
Right.
Like if it wasn't, it wouldn't have been that good. Or I guess it still would have been good, but it wouldn't have been like meta warping. Probably.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not.
The weakness definitely had a lot to do with it because the weakness made it so that if the best way to counter it was itself.
Yeah. And like Zard, it's not like Zard, like it only won like one regional or whatever, I think, right? Or probably won more than one. I know it won. Was it Azul that won San Antonio with it?
I think Azul won San Antonio. Let me.
It's got a bunch. It's consistently like at least one in top 8.
It's
right?
definitely like it's a 12 to 15% meta share deck too.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that's kind of weird about it.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Its conversion rate I know is always like a little underwhelming sometimes. Yeah. But like, because you'd think it'd be like, oh, if this card's like crazy broken, it'd always be winning these tournaments. But like, it's
you'd
just.
Think. But also,
it's hampered by the fact that it's a stage 2.
But also look at other cards that are considered extremely broken. Mew VMAX, broken card or broken deck. Like
I would argue Genesect V is the broken card in that deck.
I think I would agree with you. But like Mew broken deck never should have been printed. Yeah. Also caps at like 10%. Other card Palkia V-Star, which as much as I love Palkia V-Star, that card probably never should have been printed.
Really? I honestly don't. Is this like a format that I missed where Palkia was broken? Because right now it's just like
there was a format.
Pokemon
there was a format
like
where Palkia Inteleon was 8 of 8 in top 8. Because imagine there. So you know how with Charizard you just go get whatever you want out of your deck.
Yes,
Palkia was the same way, but the HP values and damage values weren't as inflated as they are now. So with the right setup, you could
was this Shady Dealings?
Yes, Shady Dealings and Inteleon. Shady Dealings is already like bad enough, and then on top of that, you got a guy who capitalizes on benched Pokemon and can accelerate extremely quickly with Radiant Greninja. You can you can do the prize trade with like sniping with Greninja.
Yeah, that's nuts.
A broken deck at the time. And what's crazy is immediately afterwards in Lost Origin they printed better decks.
Wasn't that like I recall you saying something like that? I think on a previous episode where it's just Sword and Shield is just you think this deck is good.
Yeah,
check out what we're printing next.
Sword and Shield was very much that every single set was new BDIF. With
I'm very glad it's not that.
Yeah, me too. Which is cool because like we get kind of this idea of like, oh man, Temporal Forces, all these cards suck. And even like looking at Twilight Masquerade, like the Ogre Pawn cards that got revealed, they look terrible.
They do, which I don't think it's true. I think we are just brained to be like, oh, this isn't new BDIF, it's just garbage, you know?
Right.
It's not better than Zard. Like I saw people saying this is the craziest thing. When Temporal Forces or I guess Cyber Judge was like first revealed, there was so many people being like, Iron Leaves looks garbage. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is I mean, if it was 1 grass 2 colorless, I guess it would be broken. But like it's this card auto switch, auto energy movement, one shot Zard.
Yeah.
How is this a bad card?
I mean, think about it. Like people played like the Weird Year V that moves into the active and accelerates energy. Good card.
It's something.
I
guess Genshin is warping my perspective.
In decks like Lugia, before we had like in the like Scarlet Violet era of colorless Lugia, Weird Year was a must include in colorless Lugia.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
just. I'm probably just look. I don't put a lot of effort into thinking about Lugia.
That's okay. That's for a good reason. But yeah,
why does Lugia look like Mr. Beast though? Somebody pointed that out. The way he's just going, like it's so
Mr. Beast.
Oh, like it's such a. I can't take that card seriously anymore. I never could because it's goofy. But
man,
dang!
I'm so glad that you didn't have to live through Silver Tempest.
Oh yeah, no,
you sweet summer child.
I don't think I would have made it. I'm gonna be honest.
I barely
think-
made
yeah.
it. I came out kicking and screaming.
Oh god. Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's real good that Scarlet and Violet isn't that whole like. Listen, of course, Future Box BDIF.
Of course.
I'll win the next regional I go to. I'll get my Worlds invite that I won't be able to make because I have roller coasters to ride or whatever. I'm too important for Worlds.
But there's probably roller coasters in Hawaii, right?
There aren't.
Oh,
no.
JK.
I know where they all are.
I know where they're at.
There's no notable ones in Hawaii, at least.
That's fine.
It's not fine. I can't go there for a vacation.
I would consider the plane ride there as technically a roller coaster.
I think that you should not talk to me about roller coasters anymore.
Yeah, that's probably
after
the
that
best.
statement. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but like, I do think it's a lot of people no longer. They were primed probably by Sword and Shield to be like, this is no longer best deck in format. This is not going to be good at all. Like I recall watching people, whenever like the big streamers and players like Azul, Little Dark Fury will like do their like reviews of a set when it comes out, and like the translations get like people were looking at Charizard and they're like, this will probably be good. And that was like the extent it got,
That's the thing, is like there was a lot of people who were also like looking at Charizard and they're just like, this doesn't look very good at all. Like, which is insane to think about.
People just don't know. Like, it's so much. I don't know if this is fundamentally different than Sword and Shield. And again, I didn't play in Sword and Shield, so my opinions on this take them with like way too much sodium. But like, if you saw these decks, people I assume were like, the Lost Box is going to be VDIF now. People. You need to playtest, I think, maybe more in Scarlet Violet to understand the strengths of these decks than it just was like, Sableye looks real good. Because it's broken.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, it's very much like new card kind of, we all have this bias when it comes to new cards.
Yeah.
Because we're so familiar with like the ins and outs of our current decks. Like, I would argue that like, Tord playing Gardevoir, if he wasn't like obviously like a good player and didn't like fundamentally understand that cards have nuance and will like make things better, like if there was somebody who like was really but sorry, what I mean by that is like if somebody knows a deck as intimately as Tord knows Gardevoir,
right,
and then doesn't have that fundamental understanding of like how cards can change and make things better or worse, and things like will like shake down to be pretty good probably, if they looked at like post rotation Gardevoir and like didn't have that knowledge, they'd be like, oh, post rotation Gardevoir sucks.
Yeah, like that's just, you still have a refinement engine.
Yeah,
like the refinement engine is crazy.
The refinement
good.
engine's very good.
Combine that with Guardy EX, accelerates the stuff you discarded.
Yeah.
Like that's, even if it's not as good as Gardevoir is now, you can't have that be an unplayable deck.
Right.
I don't think
there's anything that'll make that unplayable.
Decks. Yeah, I don't know with like anything is. I don't know how these things get rolled out. And again, I am not an authority on these things. These are all my goofy opinions about stuff. But like, Turbo Hands does not seem like BDIF to me.
No, I agree.
Just to be completely honest, and like somehow people have convinced themselves to the point where I think the full art Iron Hands is like $60 on TCG Player. Like it's more than the regular Iron Hands is like $20. It's now a $200 deck to play. That might be a bit excessive. But what, you got like the 4 Crown, the 4 Hands, Prime Catcher. Like it's
an expensive deck right now.
And like it's good, right? Being able to amp that much, that's what made Miraidon good. And now you can do it on bigger targets.
It is exactly the Miraidon effect, where Miraidon in its current iteration, pre-Temporal Forces, it is just a rush to play. It feels awesome because you get to high roll these electric generators and you get your cards, and like you swing big every turn and you're always taking 2 prizes and it just feels so good, and you get to play so much of the game because you don't have as many issues with consistency when it comes to setting up like other decks have. And that's part of what makes Future Hands so appealing to like maybe an average player, is like you've got Techno Radar, which is Battle VIP Pass, but
it's
better.
Techno Radar. The fact that like Future Box is not instantly like BIF because Techno Radar exists does say like you do have to work a little bit harder with these cards, right?
Absolutely.
Like the fact these, like Battle VIP is a broken card. We all agree if that was still in format.
Yeah. What's crazy about that card is people also thought that was going to be a bad card when it first got like printed. I remember watching a Celio's Network video, and he was like, this card looks bad. I can't imagine anybody's going to run any of it because after turn 1, it's a dead card.
That's why you run 4 of them. You need it. It's crazy. Like, also, dead cards are nice sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not gonna lie.
great.
Being able to chuck stuff with Ultra Balls without having to worry about like,
Yeah.
do I need this later, or like
Precisely.
free Lost Zone content. It's like super nice. Like
Yeah.
Techno Radar is it's just better, and like Hands getting that is
Iron Hands getting that, and then Electric Generator being able to accelerate to Iron Hands. That's why like Future Hands feels really good.
yeah. I've look, as much as I'm a hater, I've played a couple of games with it
It feels good.
online. It feels good. I get all my stuff. Lost Vacuum, your Heavy Baton. And like
Ratio.
just it's just what happens when I lose my Heavy Baton, right? This is something that like I think I don't know if Future Box is better than Hands. It probably isn't. I have an incredibly biased perspective. I don't want to.
I wonder if is Tool Jammer still in the format?
I believe it is, because I've considered running Tool Jammer. But like I don't know if Future Box is better than Hands. It probably isn't. Or maybe it takes a lot of refining and it has the potential to be. Future Box feels like a deck that you need like a real good 60 and a real good pilot to like
it's
be able to do
E-Block.
that with.
That's so sad.
Oh, Tool Jammer's E-Block?
That's so sad.
Oh, that's really sad. I guess I just run more Lost Vacuum.
Yeah, more Lost Vacuum for sure.
But like the thing is with Future Box, I can throw my EXP share everywhere. If my active hands get knocked out, I have a leaves response next turn.
Yeah.
You know? But like and having to do EXP share off that or reboot pod off that isn't like the most consistent thing in the world, but it's like a lot better than don't vacuum my Heavy Baton, please.
Please?
Like
especially in a format where everybody's running 2 Lost Vacuum bare mids.
Yeah. It is kind of funny where
Which
everyone's
if you're
like
not
cutting the Lost Vacuum.
if you're not at home running 2 Lost Vacuum in your deck right now, put 2 Lost Vacuum in your deck. You're gonna need it.
This is the propaganda. Put the Lost Vacuum in.
Put the Lost Vacuum in your deck.
Just because Path is gone doesn't mean that tools are more important. Heroes at Cape and Max.
Heroes Cape is crazy good.
Like Heroes Cape is crazy good when Lost Vacuum doesn't exist, right? Because like I just bump your A spec, and it's gone now.
I had the opportunity to play against our buddy James, who's been rocking the Dialga V-Star deck.
Yeah.
And I played against him at the at locals Sunday. And there was a situation I was in where I was capable of, and in fact would have done 400 damage to his Dialga V-Star and not knocked it out.
It's so
sick. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is without having the metal energy that makes you take less damage, by the way, the special energy. Because that was a thing.
Is that still in format?
No, that was D-Block.
When was the last time they printed a colored special energy? Like
other than Rainbow?
Anymore? Yeah, that doesn't count. I mean, like
it was
watch energy.
It was
like burning.
It was D-Block stuff.
Why have? Because Lugia exists.
Yep. Because
Lugia is holding us back. So I want a Rainbow energy in format. It's a decent card. I guess we have Luminous, but like
Luminous bad.
Luminous is not. It'd be good if it was like somehow able to accelerate off Miraidon.
Yeah, sure.
I would love it. It's just I think I know some of you all were talking about this earlier at like one of our group chats. I do genuinely think the reason Future Hands is getting so hyped is because Lugia won Fukuoka, and people are like, Turbo Hands kind of craps on Lugia.
Yeah.
So now we're playing Turbo Hands. I think it's an absurd bubble where they're both going to be good decks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think they're both going to be like the best by far. I think Zard is still for some reason underperforming because that deck has so many tools.
Yeah.
In this format, you have the option to run Bib and Pidgeot, and they're both crazy good.
They're both great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like one you get Prime Catcher, the other you get literally anything else you want every turn.
I think what it is with Future Hands is people are seeing Lugia do well, and they're like, I can't go back to that.
Right. It's listen, I'm the same, but also I want to beat Zard, so that's why I play box.
Yeah, no, I get it.
3 leaves.
3 leaves good. 3 leaves very good.
You know what it's not good for is that I can't bling out that deck. That's $400 in Iron Crowns right there. And
that's a lot of crowns.
Why is Crown the more expensive one? It's not as versatile. Oh, it's Future Hands. Never mind. Move on.
Yep, Future Hands. It's also in there.
It's a bubble. It's such a bubble.
Yeah, I'm sure that people are going to come to their senses soon. But
a regular EX in this economy where we have this much printing of stuff cannot be $20. I'm sorry, there's too many Iron Hands.
Yeah.
In circuit, I've stumbled into 3 just randomly.
Literally, go back and just open more products. There's so much product to be opened, and the hit rates for that set were bananas.
No, it's great. Not Temporal Forces.
Right. Well, even then, I feel like I've gotten crazy lucky. Well, maybe that's me. Because
Maybe.
I pulled the full art leaves, or the Illustrator Rare leaves, and the Illustrator Rare Raging Bolt.
So has everybody I know has pulled the leaves. I want that card.
I'm so sorry.
Lily sold it
Oh
for
no!
$1. I just want the card. Granted, I want 3 of them, and that's less reasonable.
Yeah, that's
But,
very
like,
much like a hey, you get a little too
I'll
much
get
there.
the alt art boulder. There's only one in the deck.
The Altar Boulder is gorgeous.
Traded a couple people. Trade somebody for a couple Thorntons the other day. Full art Thorntons. So
Thornton is sick. I
We
love
got
the
those.
Thornton play. I love
Reboot.
Thornton.
No, it's so great that a decent amount of like my planning in this deck now is because you randomly posted in Discord once. Wouldn't it be so silly if you reboot potted into Leaves, into Thornton, into Iron Hand?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will make this happen.
And the fact that you're able to do it consistently is kind of sick.
Consistently is a little. It happens every once in a while. The double Thornton and the gear make it a lot more consistent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pokegear is an important card, guys. I know it sucks. It's Great Ball for supporters, but it's the best we have.
Yeah.
It's a
Great Ball is a terrible card. Can you believe that back in the day, Master Ball had that same effect?
What were they? Like, that's the thing. That's one of the funniest things about the card game to me is that, like, in the video games, it's like, fundamentally, Ultra Ball is better than Great Ball is better than Pokeball. Hyper Potion is better than, what is it, Great
Super Potion.
Super Potion is better than Potion. They're all just items, though. Like, in the card game. You have to balance them somehow. Yeah. And that's why Master Ball is the ace spec, and that makes sense. It's crazy that it's been 11 years since we've had a Master Ball.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
That's nuts. I'm so glad it's considered a reprint, though. Like, that's
I kind of wish you could play like the old stuff, the old school Master Ball that wasn't an ace spec as the ace spec. That'd be
It sucks that they ruled you couldn't. Right?
It'd be such a cool flex. And what's the harm? What are you gonna make me play that Master Ball as a Great Ball? I'll burn your house down.
Yeah, it's. I like my house.
Not you.
Oh.
But like the general you, the people.
I'll burn down you, TPCI.
The people deciding.
I will get you.
This is a threat.
No, it's not.
In Minecraft.
It's not, please,
in Minecraft.
I am merely. I'm a guest. I am not responsible.
This
for the
is a joke for legal reasons. There's no threat happening here. I really hope that the video gets cropped so that you're pointing to the outside wall of the video with that.
Look, I pointed the wrong way first. It doesn't.
It happens.
I'm already the fool.
But yeah. Wow, that was I can't believe we got there from talking about Vancouver.
This is what conversations are like. Threats against the people who make this thing exist, you know?
Yeah. But it's cool seeing like a good last hurrah for a lot of cool decks. What just happened?
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
Yo, that's crazy.
Like, it's cool seeing a cool last hurrah. Like, top 100 Cloth Electrode is sick.
That is nice. Didn't that win juniors at Charlotte or something?
I think
I
so.
recall
There was a lot of
hearing
Cloth
that.
Electrode at juniors in Charlotte.
Juniors love that deck, and honestly, I can't blame them.
I get it. It's cool.
Like, no hate to the kiddos, but like,
juniors are sometimes some of the best players. The problem is
they're so scary.
They just forget things often. Which same.
That's true.
But like they will have this cracked out play, and they make it happen every time.
Yeah. Dude, I feel so bad. I went to a pre-release at one of the stores up here, and a junior pulled a prime catcher for one of his prize packs. I was like, "Hey, do you want to like trade for that, baby?" Because I was like, it's juniors. I'm not going to scam the kid, but it's like I don't know how much play that's going to get out of it. And then somebody that worked there was like, "We sponsor this kid. This kid's not trading the prime catcher." And I'm like, my bad, guys. My bad. I'm just here.
I get it. Yeah, I'm the asshole.
He'll do better than me. It's fine. It's fine.
See, that's why it's nice. I love having this Discord community. Which shout out Greater Charlotte Pokemon, the Discord.
You're cool.
I'm going to maybe. No, I'm not. I'm not going to leave the link to that in the description because not everyone who watches this is from Charlotte. But it's so sick because like I've got Zach, who was on the show recently, who's like they and I are like helping each other out with cards for the cup or challenge at another local in the coming weeks. Like we're like James is hooking me up with the prime catcher I need, and also like has been like mama birding me all of the cards that I need whenever it comes to like I've gotten 3 Iron Crowns from that dude just out of the kindness of
That's-
his heart.
That's nuts.
And he's like,
Hope it goes down in price.
He's like, we'll figure out what you can give you for that later. And I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
doing that when it's a $15 card.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? Which, granted, he's working towards getting like a set of full arts, and so
like alt art.
No, just the full arts. The one.
Okay. I was gonna say we might need to have an intervention.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise,
but like, it's cool that we've got this community of people who are like
yeah.
helping mitigate the impact that the terrible economy is having on our playability of decks, right?
Oh yeah.
Because there's probably something to be said for that, about how like right now the situation of people having to buy cards is kind of rough.
It's not. Listen, like as a TCG in general, we're like super privileged.
This is
I
true.
recall seeing some graphic that it's like, here's how much it costs to play the tier 1 deck in every TCG, and it's like Yu-Gi-Oh is $1,200, Magic's $1,000, Lorcana's $800, Charizard is $80. Like it's a far cry from like the black and white era, where like, or even like before that, obviously, but like what the how much was a Mewtwo at like peak of the Mewtwo Wars? Like $75.
Yeah.
And you needed like 2 to 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, no,
I like
I'm looking.
The fact that we're freaking out that a prime catcher might be like about $20
is very
like,
privileged of us.
It's
yeah,
privileged, but also it does suck. It should be $5.
Yeah.
I'm
looking at like this article that was written in August of last year, right?
Okay.
For Magic the Gathering. Their cheapest, after bannings, there's a nice varied mix of decks being played, with aggro, mid-range, and control all well represented. Here's 10 current standard decks and their average prices, right? And it's like giving a good idea of like average. The low end, $80, higher than every deck that we play, other than maybe Future Hands right now, because it's still
Future Hands right now,
because it's still technically a future format deck.
The cards aren't out yet. Really, it doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't count.
The most expensive deck, $530. We will never see that happen, except for like
Blinged Out Lost Tina. I don't like that. Doesn't count.
No, well, even like, because even Silver Tempest Lugia, which we've talked about a lot, being outrageously expensive at its peak.
How is that even There's so many of those cards in circulation. I don't even.
There weren't back then.
Really? But like late Sword and Shield? No? I thought late Sword and Shield printed so much.
The pull rates for Silver Tempest were not very good.
Oh, pull rate. Darn pull rates.
Yeah, it was sad.
Darn pull rates.
Let's see if we can see a full year. They were in April of last year. They were $14 a piece.
Okay.
The Lugia V Stars.
Okay. What are they, like 10 now?
Right now they're actually getting back up. They're like 12 now.
I shouldn't have sold that one that I sold. I should have held.
But also, like April of last year is coming down off like after rotation.
Oh yeah, that's
like
they were something like what, like 40 at peak?
Something like that. I wish I could see further back on TCG Player.
TCG Player. Why is it always like that? I want to know how much this card was in 2010.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me see.
It's pretty crazy. So it's weird to see like this strange economy where people are like taking out a mortgage to get all their A specs. Like one of the guys in the Discord, I won't say who because that would be disrespectful, but like was paying $40 for a prime catcher before the official release. It's like, hey man, maybe don't.
Like, I get wanting the cards. I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can,
especially being able to like play with them now. Like I played like a Lost Zone box that used prime catcher, and it's so gas. It's so insanely potent to use prime catcher.
I hate it so, like it's I don't think it's like too broken or anything. I think it's fine as like your A spec.
Yeah, sure.
But I hate being like when my opponent's doing their turn, I have all like the what can they do against me in my head here, even though I don't need to like respond or anything. Pokemon doesn't have responses. But I'm just like, what do I need to prepare for to be ready to deal with next turn with what's in my hand? Whenever like they research away their hand, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting gusted. We're even on prizes. Now I have to stop that.
Prime catcher jump scare.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, well, I guess they can. Beforehand, it's like a coin flip if they're running Pokemon catchers, literally. And now it's just like, they're gonna research themselves. Cypher Maniac, like Genpao being like Cypher Maniac for Prime Catcher, please. Bib. It's just like, all right, whatever.
Imagine being able to literally go grab boss and another card. Gross.
Guzma, actually.
Okay.
When are we gonna get a boss's orders Guzma? By the way, I'm totally.
I want it so bad. I freaking love Guzma. Guzma's one of my favorite like crime bosses out of the Pokemon games.
He's great. He's just kind of like a dude, you know.
Yeah.
And if you convince him, I think it's in the Ultra games. Is it both games or just the Ultra games? Where he's just like, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know?
I wouldn't know. My 3DS got stolen before I could play Sun. It was my second 3DS. The first one got stolen. I forget what I was playing on it at the time. Probably some goofy crap. But like, and then like I got a new one for Christmas a couple years later. I was like, yes, let's go! And it was the purple one. I was so hyped because it was purple.
Oh, that's fire, actually.
And then I had gotten like Pokemon Sun for it, and this is after I had played Oros and my copy of Pearl.
Yeah.
And luckily I still have those cartridges. But I had like just put the new cartridge into the DS and like started playing a little bit, and I was like, this is so much fun. I'm having such a good time. And then I look one day and it's gone.
Like the whole DS?
The whole DS. And I was devastated because I was like just starting to have fun with it.
That's real sad.
For sure. But
that's real tragic.
But yeah, no, Guzma's the GOAT. I love him, and I want to see a boss's orders with him printed on it. Getsus is pretty sick. So I think we'll see. Well, we're probably getting Lysander with Pokemon Legend ZA.
We already got Lysander.
I know we got Lysander. If we don't, though, maybe we get Guzma, and I'm okay with that.
How far apart were the boss's orders printed in Sword and Shield block? Because that's when they started doing them, right? It was like they did like
Giovanni.
There's Giovanni, Lysander, and Cyrus. There was 3 in that block. I feel like we're due. Like, it's going to be an H block, right? Because they want to keep it. That's one of the cards that they're planning on keeping in, like, every block.
True.
Maybe we get Guzma in, like, the set after Twilight Masquerade.
I'd be cool with that. I'd be down for that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I want my boy. Also, I just want another special illustration for boss.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
I like my SIRs.
Yeah. Is there any other cool stuff you want to talk about before we move a little further on about kind of like what's leaving? Do you have like if you could go like a top 3, not in any particular order, top 3 cards leaving the format that you're either really sad to see go or really stoked to see go?
All right. Like a 3 of each, or just like 3
you can do 3 of each. Yeah,
stuff?
Let's do 3 of each.
Okay. I haven't thought. Let's see. One that feels real weird is No Escape Rope. Like that's just such a that's just a card that's so. It's kind of a really insanely good card. If
it's
you
a very impactful card.
It's just like they decided that it's equally as good as Switch from a game balancing perspective.
Yeah,
which like it's situational, you know.
Yeah,
but like it's so to be able to gust your opponent on like an item card is just like to make them switch something, and that's why I love Iron Bundle. Iron
Bundle's great.
People don't prepare for it now. They're like, there's no Escape Rope in format, but Escape Rope is such a good
crazy
card.
Impactful.
On the happy it's gone. I'm going back and forth like we're like a watch mode tier list or something.
Sure. It's like a draft pick.
Yeah, it's a draft pick. Battle VIP, like it's
F that
it's
card.
nice in some things. Look, I think Poffin is like a little like maybe not too good, but like has its value. It does kind of mean that you can't like mess up like if Zard misses a Poffin or something, it's not like over for them or misses a VIP. But like being able to do essentially Poffin turn 1, it's just like I set up my whole Roaring Moon board. I have 2 Moons, a Mew, a Moltres, and a Greninja.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. Just because I got lucky off my stuff or I had Pokestop in my deck, is not a healthy card.
Right.
I can't believe you all had to deal with that for 3 years. I had to deal with that for like 5 months. And I'm like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
How'd you all do this? It's oof. What's next? The E-blocks. This isn't a personal thing. I never ran a deck where this was an issue, but Clara is such like
Clara's a
an important card. I'm not like a Sablezard enjoyer myself, mostly because I'm too stupid to play Sablezard. That's such a big brain deck.
It's tough.
It is. I tried it once on PTCGL, and I'm like,
what do?
What am I? Do I Sableye? I guess. Why isn't there 10 in my Lost Zone? But like Clara is a really nice card for that. I know we're getting Lana's backup. I think is what
I think so.
They're translating it as right now. And,
seems good, but it's not going to be the same.
It's not. You can't get Radiant Zard back. You know,
Right.
so Sable Zard has to change their strat
for the
there.
time being, like you get if you're able to pull off a really turbo, like 10 in the Lost Zone, sure, rock the Sable Zard with Tulip.
Yeah.
But until then, like other than that, you don't get Clara effects anymore.
It's real sad. By Genesect V, I don't.
Yeah,
I
get it.
It's a silly card, right? And it's not like completely game defining in the way like any given tier 0 format might have been.
Right.
If that was printed today, it's a once per turn, right? Like that's or once you can't use more than one Fusion Strike System ability per turn. Like
yeah, it probably would be printed something like that. It would
like,
probably be printed like
good,
that,
right?
but it would probably be like once during your turn, you could fill up to like, you'd be able to fill maybe up to like 7 or 8.
Yeah, but like if you think about like Bib is a stage 1, and that's draw till you have 5, and like Genesect is a basic, and it's like I have 4 of these, draw up to 6
every time.
And it's just every time, like 4 times a turn.
Granted,
like,
it was also like setup dependent. I don't want to be like running defense for it.
It worked in one deck, so it's
less, I think
it's less upsetting.
I think it was mostly egregious because of Battle VIP Pass.
Yeah.
I think Mew with no Battle VIP Pass was not near as good.
You still have Feather Ball, which is nice, but like getting out your Genesects, it's tough.
So you're at 2 and 2 right now.
Yeah, we're at 2 and 2. I usually when you do this, you have like a big one ready to go. Like this is my number 1, and I didn't do that.
Yeah, we kind of started with that one.
I guess like what's like a real tragic loss from E Block?
I've got some in front of me right now. So here's a couple of examples. So all of the gloves cards, all like the rubber gloves, justified gloves, whatever.
Justified gloves was like the only one that really saw play right. It's just like, I need to hit my 30 on Zard.
Right.
Like,
Zinnia's Resolve leaves, but I mean that's getting a replacement in Morty.
Morty's like
Toy Catcher sucks. Dream Ball
Toy
sucks.
Catcher's funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree.
Toy Catcher's funny.
Boost Shake was cool in one deck. Did you ever have to play against Eternatus?
No, I never played in D Block.
Oh, you missed out.
I do kind of look. When I started playing, right, that was like there was a little bit of Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza hanging on, so Skyfield was in some play.
Okay.
Big Bench is so cool.
Big Bench is awesome.
I love it. It's not good. I don't think it should exist.
Was so sick.
Yeah.
I have a lot of nostalgia for that deck because I never played it, and I really wish I'd gotten a chance to.
Yeah.
And being able to ability lock your opponent, bananas.
Listen, yeah. That's fair.
I
know what my answer is now. I'll let you keep going, but I know what my answer is.
Another one, Lucky Ice Pop. F that
card.
That's
such a silly card, though. That's so silly.
Yeah, it's silly, but when it happens, I get so angry. Full Face Guard, all of the scrolls. Yeah. Raihan's a sad one.
Raihan is a bummer. Raihan will be my honorary mention.
Fog Crystal, Peony, Melanie.
I have mine.
Go for it.
It is both of them. It is both one that I hate to see go, and I'm so glad it's gone at the same time. It's Path.
Oh,
it's easily Path.
I was gonna guess if it was this guy. Oh, you can't see that. That's exposed.
Oh, that's just kind of a sad one. It's like an old friend.
Yeah.
Path is like I've heard a lot of arguments. Most of my experience was Path was as the receiving end as a Zard player, and so I just got real tired of it.
Right.
But like it is a really important. I think having ability lock on a stadium is like pretty balanced.
It seems like one of the things they would have wanted to forever print too.
Right? Like it's real strong. I'm sure we'll get something like it back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine it's the same thing, you know? Like
right.
I don't feel like it is exactly that. That it feels just it doesn't feel like one of those cards, you know?
Right.
But like it's such I'm happy because Future Box with Path would be kind of garbage. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like having no crown, not being able to Iron Leaves myself out of situations, it sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah.
But like
you see that when you like have to play against an ancient box that has Fluttermane.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like especially for
well, no, it doesn't because that's the active. If you were playing against like Klefki for some reason, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Fluttermane. There's some decks that still struggle with that. Like now, like Zard players have to like make sure it gets out of the active if there's a Fluttermane there for some reason.
Yeah.
But like that's the other thing. There's like nothing to slow down Zard now, really.
Right.
It's just like you
just have to answer to it. You
have
to react to Zard, and that's never what you want to do.
And like we were talking earlier about like, oh, this is like kind of no longer a one-shot format, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, oh, you don't have to do that. Except Zard. You got to be able
Zard
to
is the exception.
Because you can't play slow against Zard.
If you give Zard an inch, it will take a mile.
Yeah. in last format even, where like you didn't always have to one-shot Zard, you had to one-shot most things, but like a lot of the best decks one-shot Zard, it's like they take 180 on their first turn, which isn't a lot. Like in this format, 180 is not too much damage, so you can kind of afford to play a little slower against Zard. They get max spell now. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah,
they can play fast now. They don't have to be on the comeback arc anymore with
true.
with Burning Darkness. It's just like Zard can play aggressive, and so losing Path is like real bummer for that.
Yeah.
You know? As somebody, I've come around, I've saw the light. As somebody who hated getting pathed as Zard throughout all of Charlotte too, that was a real bummer. I got pathed a lot.
Good.
Still went positive though. So
all right, well,
but no, but like getting pathed a lot, I now understand that was a necessary evil.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to Iron Thorns EX.
Iron Thorns is gonna go crazy.
Hey, what am I hitting for? It hits for like 140.
Iron Thorns kind of fixes your Zard matchup, doesn't it?
I mean, Leaves is pretty good already, but like if I'm hitting,
but also just shutting off.
Am I hitting? Yeah,
abilities?
That's true.
That's
if
pretty good.
If I have 4 boosts on it, I'm hitting 220, right? Like that's
not
bad. Like 4 boosts is a lot. 200 is a pretty solid number, anyways. And you're still hitting for lightning type, which is like maybe one of the most important weaknesses to hit.
So important.
And like the current meta, that's honestly Iron Hands. Iron Hands should not have been a lightning type.
Make it a metal type. Make it dunk on Chen-Pao.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, even
no,
honestly,
don't. I like Chen-Pao. I feel bad for that deck.
Taking 3 prizes with hands is not as good as it seems most of the time.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Like, because then you got to go 3-3, and you can't go 3-3.
Well, and kind of going back to like the idea that people thought it was like, oh, this is TDK all over again. It's like it's not. You know why TDK was so good? Chorus Machine.
Chorus Machine, yeah.
An item card? We think that current stuff is bad. Imagine being able to go get a special energy out of your deck with an item card.
Did Plasma Energy didn't do anything else, right? I mean, even then, it's just like fill up your stuff. I think Plasma Energy was just straight up, this can only be attached to Plasma Pokemon, but because Chorus Machine existed, it was like insane. It's just like, go search your deck for an energy, attach it. It's
let me look.
It's nuts.
It was Plasma Energy. This card provides colorless energy.
Yeah,
that's it.
But it's still nuts because it's just, I play an item and I get an extra energy attachment. It's not like that is I think Future Box's weakness compared to Future Hands. It's just like if you miss that Miraidon, it's
You're
like
cooked.
It's kind of over. I see people wanting to do like a 3, some people even like a 4 Miraidon list, and while I don't love it, I can't blame them.
Yeah,
I really can't blame them. It's like I need that.
You gotta have the consistency.
You need the consistency. Being able to hit for like an average of like 100 damage with my energy acceleration attack though is nuts. I love that.
Yeah.
Just like blow up. And that's why Iron Bundle is great. If I'm playing against Lugia, they have a Lugia V, Minccino on the bench. I'm just like, switch them, die.
Give it to me. Yeah, give me the little
rat.
rat.
What do I do now?
Kill the rat.
There goes my routing. Like, I hate the rat. It's a silly rat.
It's a silly rat.
Minccino is so good.
It's so good. It makes Lugia very good again.
Okay, look. Maybe. Sure,
it's a good card.
We'll go with that.
It's a good deck.
Capturing Aroma.
Bad card.
Bad card. Like without capturing Aroma, Lugia is garbage though, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
You can't. It is a there's an analogy here that I can't go for. It's a real nice house built on a real rocky foundation. Like it's.
I agree with that.
If you get it off, it works.
That was very poetic.
It was so not. Don't give me that. Don't pretend.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Lugia feels bad right now. Yeah. But again, I get it. The Pokemon Company or Creatures is probably sitting there like, "Hey, listen guys, remember when we made this card absolutely insane? What if we never go back to that? We can't ever go back to that."
It is crazy that even Minccino, I don't think, makes that deck like insane. Like it's good now. It's more playable for sure. You don't have to rely on Snorlax.
Yeah, which Snorlax is good too. Don't get it twisted. Snorlax good.
It's not Minccino.
No, it's not. But it does take care of all of your 2-prize liability Pokemon, which is cool. Like your Mew, your Luminion, your Squawk. Yeah. Very good for that.
Did you have any notable E-blocks?
Oh,
again, we're very good at continuing a conversation.
We're great at that. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, isn't that how you talk as people? I don't know. I think that's what you're supposed to do.
No idea. I think for me, obviously, so number 3 card that I'm going to miss. I'm going to try to avoid any repeats.
That's fair. That's fair.
Card that I'm going to miss, Fog Crystal.
Yeah,
Fog
no, I
Crystal,
like.
very cool card.
It's so good. It's so good. Like I love those cards. I like search your deck for Pokemon of this type that's a basic or a
Yeah.
basic energy card. What's the other one? Like
Netball.
Netball is for grass. Is there another one? Or is it just Netball?
I don't know.
They should make another one. Make one for
should.
Fire. Fire needs more support, please. Hey, no, does that give? Okay, but like it's just Dark type is what Zard is, so it's fine. We can get Fire support. Like,
Disagree.
what would make that broken? Fire needs help, I think. Not as much as fighting. Fighting always needs help.
Fighting, please print a brick ball. Like,
Please print just
something.
rock. Go get a rock.
Yeah, print the
Why
rock.
is Chompy X not good?
Oh,
It's crazy.
yeah, it should be so good, especially with Irida in the format. But yeah, sorry. So yeah,
Oh wow.
Fog Crystal. I'm gonna miss.
Yeah, that's true.
One card I'm not going to miss. Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah. E-Block is honestly pretty solid.
I'm not
Like,
really gonna miss Energy Recycler.
I honestly kind of do solely because I like Kingdra, because Kingdra's so silly.
Or
like-
the reason I'm not going to miss Energy Recycler, I'm not going to miss Celebrations Kyogre.
Yeah, that was a scary thing to deal with. I
That
forgot
was
wholly about the Celebrations
Terrifying.
cards.
And that they could just get, maybe honestly, the Celebrations Pokemon in general. I think
Honestly,
I'm gonna group them all in there.
Alright.
Mew is fine, but I think it
I am
totally
kind of gonna miss Mew.
it allows a type of deck building that is very much like, deal with this guy who's getting all my crap, and if you like deal with any other part of my strategy, I'm just gonna like put him up and get more value out of him. And that
Mew
feels
with
bad to go
Rescue
against.
Board. Mew with Rescue Board might just be another like the Jirachi from like Sun and Moon again.
Right.
That's like
Yeah, it
Mew
would
with
be
Rescue
exactly
Board's
that.
a little good. Yeah.
It was that's how
Not
that
nearly as
Mew was
broken,
when it
but-
had Air Balloon.
Oh dang.
Yeah, and like Zacian V, also like a card that I'm kind of like not sad it's going.
E-Block, that is actually, I didn't even realize this. E-Block is like our last connection to the Sun and Moon era,
Mhm.
right? Because like those E-Block cards were printed, they would have been played with the C-Block cards that like existed in the Sun and Moon, even though they weren't C-Block or whatever.
Right.
Like yeah, it's like seeing Empoleon V and being like, there's a card that's legal that says GX on it right now.
Right.
Like, we're losing that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. One that I will miss, and I think this one might be kind of controversial, is Cross Switcher.
I have such mixed feelings on that card.
Yeah, it's a cool card. It's a really cool effect because like first of all,
you think that effect is cool?
Yes, I know. I know Prime Catcher exists, but I think having to play two cards at once makes it really cool. I think I love the idea of like all those cards really. Like Cross Seavers were also very neat.
Yeah.
In the sense that you had to like play two of these to get this effect. And like we don't have anything cool like that now. What do we have now? Quadstone. Quadstone sucks.
I wish Quadstone should have a 2 of effect too. Like
Sure.
It shouldn't just be 4. Like
yeah, I agree.
What is one Quadstone heal 10 damage?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I'm struggling for a heal card. Listen, it's not quite my baby the way Future Box is my baby right now. I want Armor Rouge to be real good because I think Armor Rouge with Pogozard is like kind of nuts. Just like eye attack. I think it's I don't want to do math. It's big numbers, and also Armor Rouge can tank insane stuff because of its ability and no path now.
True.
But like no Cheryl, it kind of sucks. I want my heal so I can use that ability twice.
Another one I'm gonna miss is Cheryl. Cheryl's another good card that
Not
we
to
lose.
dox your list.
Dang. It's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. What I won't miss though, one that I absolutely will not miss, and like this one I have to copy you. It's Battle VIP Pass. That card's oppressive. And it feels terrible to not have it. The worst feeling in the world is turn 2, you top deck it.
Oh, it happened. There's like 4 things in Pokemon, right? That like statistically, this is false. This is what I'm about to say is incorrect. But like it totally feels like this is the case, right? Like you're playing Zard, your Rotom is more likely to be prized than any other one of.
Right.
That's just how it works. You're gonna trekking shoes into trekking shoes.
Absolutely trekking and shoes into trekking shoes.
That happens way more than it should, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm no math person. I'm probably gonna fail my stats exam I have on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll just write on the stats exam like trekking shoes into trekking shoes, and that'll probably I'll probably do fine.
Yeah, because that happens. Yeah. It happens every time.
Yeah, it does. It does happen. Top deck battle VIP turn 2.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Yeah, it happens.
It's It's gross.
It is really
It's
gross.
so gross.
I'm also going to miss another one because I have pretty fond memories of these, and because I think they would make Raging Bolt actually playable. The baby Galarian birds.
Oh yeah. I only know what the Moltres does.
Sick. It's all the same effect, but different types.
Really? Were they all promos or just the Moltres?
They were all promos, I think.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I got all of mine, but like the Zapdos specifically was also free retreat.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, its attack
it's fighting type, right?
Fighting type. It would have been great support.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and maybe this is just me like wishful thinking. I think it would have been fine to have that in the same format as Raging Bolt.
Yeah, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on Raging Bolt, to be honest. I don't think it's Raging Bulk. I'll be honest with you. But I also don't think it's like that. It's not better than Chien-Pao.
No, never.
It's not better than Chien-Pao. Well, I need to work that much harder to do 10 extra damage per energy discard.
Yeah.
Right? Just run Goldengo. I know it does less, but like it's
Goldengo cool.
You do a lot less work. You just need it in hand.
Yeah.
Also, 260 is kind of a hard number sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Goldengo. I should play Goldengo.
You should. It's a cool deck. Yeah, that's a lot of rotation stuff talked about. We talked about Vancouver. When
is EUIC? How long do we have? That's the 5th, 6th?
I could not tell you.
I think it's the 5th.
I
know rotation is the 5th. I'm pretty sure EUIC is the same day as
April
rotation.
5th to 7th.
April 5th to 7th. Are we? I don't know if you're probably gonna have another one of these, but I want to get my foot in the door. I want to make my EUIC calls. I want to see like.
I think I could be so down to do that. So this is the first post rotation, right?
Yeah, EUIC is. Yeah, so EUIC is the first post rotation major, I believe. And then I don't know when Orlando is, but that's the first one in North America.
Okay.
It's crazy. Are international championships usually day of rotation?
Yes.
Like that seems okay. That's nuts. That's so cool. I'm really because that's just some crazy stuff is happening.
Yeah,
there,
it's
right?
cool to see everybody's pulling out all the stops for this tournament.
Right. That's what everybody's cooking for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do you think? Okay, I guess. Listen, I'm taking over your format now. I'm making the list. What do you think is like something you think that's going to do good that is good? Something you think might disappoint, and something you think that might come out of nowhere.
I think so. Let's see. Something that I think that is good that is going to do well is oh, that's tough.
Right.
I mean, I think Charizard's just going to show up.
Yeah.
Charizard is going to show up. I think Lost Zone maybe more so. I think
there's definitely a Zard top 8, right?
Oh,
like there's
probably.
It's got to be. I don't know if there's more than one. That seems to not actually happen that much. But again, new format.
I think Lost Zone is maybe going to do better though, because here's the thing about Lost Zone is for the longest time now it's kind of struggled to have its identity.
Because Tina exists,
right?
Just play Tina.
But now, with everything changing, and you get kind of like a more of an idea. Excuse me, of like what cards you want to play. Yeah, the Lost Zone is. You're trying to fucking take me to the Lost Zone.
Oh no!
I'm fighting for my life over here. There's like more attackers that you have an idea. There's like more matchups that you have an idea where like, okay, these couple of attackers solve a lot of my major matchups. And even some that you're not really expecting. Like when I played against Dialga, you know what card shows up a lot more often than you think it does in Lost Zone box? Hoopa EX. Oh, yeah. Being able to one-shot a Zard feels good.
It does. It's like, do you think Paradox, like Paradox is what it was called last format, but like that box with like Moon, Hands, and I guess Hoopa now is going to be like the premier way to play Lost Box?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raikou, Hands, Moon, and Hoopa.
Raikou, forgot about the Raikou. I haven't touched it myself. I've just never been a huge Lost Box person.
Yeah.
But like it seems, I know you've had a decent amount of success with it. It seems solid.
It's very potent.
It also seems like a tough matchup for box, which is I like my future box.
Yeah,
you know,
it's pretty even, surprisingly. But
really?
like it's a really cool deck, and I think it's just gonna show up. It's just gonna show up.
Yeah.
Something that I think is gonna maybe like disappoint. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to look at the decks we currently have in the format.
Yeah.
Something that's gonna disappoint.
My answer.
Ancient box.
Yeah, honestly, Ancient Box is like
Ancient Box is like
I see what
almost
it's
there.
going for. I see what it's going for. It does feel like Ancient Box and Future Box in my mind are like so fundamentally different. Not like as like how they play. I
Right.
mean like, but in the sense that like Future Box feels like it's like once the list is down and people know how to do it, I feel like this is so potent. Of course, I'm biased. Ancient Box feels like you don't even have to work with. Like you're very confined by what you can do with that list.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I need to chuck stuff in the ancient, like the discard pile. I need
Yeah.
to chuck ancients. These are the ancients we have. I just I guess I Corride on
Yeah.
while I don't do that, but we have no VIP, so how am I getting that out? I got 4 Nest. Like it I feel like it has a lot less room to grow than something like a Future Box, which feels a lot more malleable and has a lot better attacker options, even from Paradox.
Yeah.
Like it was good.
I think I
would say, yeah. I think my answer is I think is Turbo Hands. Like I really don't think it's as good as people say. I wouldn't be surprised if it top 8s, but like I don't think it's going to be dominant.
No.
Like
I think a lot of people are going to play it, and then a lot of people are going to get smoked.
Yeah. Or, here's the thing, and this is fully my conspiracy. Once I saw, like, the Turbo Hands players, they're like, oh, our Arc matchup is bad. We're putting in a Boulder now. That's how we're doing that. And I'm like, okay. And then recently some people are like, our Zard matchup kind of sucks. Maybe we'll put in a Leaves here. And I'm like, you are just building Future Box in the cringe way.
Yeah.
You're just making Future. Soon you're going to be like, well, I actually need more than 1 Leaves in the Zard matchup. Because you do. You do need more than 1 Leaves in the Zard matchup. And it's going to be like, well, I guess I need 2 Leaves. And it's like, well, I guess I need Reboot Pod instead of Prime Catcher. And then it's just going to be like, oh, you're playing Future Box. Like, I have no complaints with that. I welcome people joining me on the dark side. I think that's the optimal way to play Futures. Future Hands is so cringe.
Yeah.
But like, I think it kind of disappoints.
I think I agree. Yeah, it has to disappoint. It's got that much hype behind it. There's no way it performs as well as the hype is.
There is literally no way that Iron Hands does not go down in price after EUIC, right?
Oh, certainly.
Like, I think even if Iron Hands wins EUIC, it can't be a $20 card. Like it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Well, because then what happens is people catch on and they're like, oh, here's how you counterplay that deck. And then everybody starts selling their cards.
Boulder.
Literally,
I get Hoopa. Hoopa does it. What's the math on Boulder? I get 3 boosts in play. I Oko your hands, and I have an 80 damage response. Like, but I was a Boulder hater for a little bit. Boulder's a good card.
Boulder's a good card.
Fighting type has no support. You know, it does have support. Future.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, by virtue of Future being good, fighting becomes a little good.
A little bit, yeah. You got
by virtue of Lightning being good, fighting becomes good.
Right. That's another thing with hands. Lightning's a super crazy good weakness to hit for. Fighting's a super crazy good weakness to have.
Yeah.
Like it's just yikes.
Yeah.
It's yikes a little bit.
And then I think one that comes out of nowhere, and this is absolutely just me huffing hopium.
Right.
But it's time to talk about it. The Salvatore box deck.
Yeah.
I am so hyped for this deck. I think it's waiting, much like Future Box is waiting on a refined 60.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's got a lot of tools at its disposal that are going to be really good. And we talked about it in the Discord earlier. Running that quad like 151 Ditto, and then like a very thin line for all of your attackers. Very potent.
It's correct.
It's
also
tough list.
Can all of Salvatore? Can all like the good Salvatore targets, like the like the Noiver and the
Bronzong, the Net, Aerodactyl.
Are those all Buddy Poffin valid? They're basics.
Aerodactyl is not.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, Ditto.
So like turn 1, you do that.
Yeah, you turn
going
1
forward. It's just like
you turn 1 Ditto.
You Buddy Poffin for a couple and just get that stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty good. Yeah. If you aren't privy to the tech, Aerodactyl V-Stark is Salvatoreable, and then you can turn 1 going second, turn off Arceus and Lugia, which feels pretty good.
It's nuts. I didn't realize that V-Star power is maybe my favorite, actually, reading it.
Yeah.
That's such a cool V-Star power.
Yeah, it's pretty broken.
There's some silly V-Star powers out there. Like, obviously, like Starbirth is the best one, and like Star Requiem is pretty neat. And even stuff like whatever the heck Regigigas V-Star's V-Star power is pretty silly. But like an attack that says it feels like something out of Magic, right? Where it's like until this it gains the ability. It says this. Like that doesn't feel like a Pokemon card, and I really like that actually.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a very interesting way to play the game, and like,
Yeah.
it was
Also,
so cool.
yeah, I didn't realize until it said until it leaves play. I thought it was like you gotta kill that thing like that.
You have to knock it out, or else.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Salvatore does well. What about you? Do you have anything that you want to like come out of nowhere, like mail or something?
I do have my two, right? I think Tuskmill, if somebody hits the consistency list on that one, I think that deck is scary. That deck is so scary when they get to set up. Like, it's kind of the problem sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Because that Tuskmill doesn't always...
No, setting up is tough.
Get to set up.
Setting up is tough.
It is. But, like, if there's a list down for Tuskmill that makes it consistent, like, the thing is, in my head for a while, it's like, oh, they just get Iron Hands. Sada 2 Fighting Energy kill. Like, the fact that Tusk can one-shot Iron Hands is it makes it a better deck for sure, because that's you rely on them taking single prizes. Iron Hands cheats that. No, it doesn't. Instead, like it's scary.
And
I think the one
Cape is good.
Oh, Cape is scary. 100 HP, 240 HP single prizer.
So big.
It's nuts. It's
so
nuts.
So big.
I think you kind of convinced me on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I think some goofy Arc Vulpix list.
Yeah.
With the Goodra in there. Like we were talking about this, and you're like, oh, Future Box just kind of folds to Arc Goodra Vulpix. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I'm fine. It's tough. I don't think it's an auto loss. I'll be honest, but like,
probably not an auto loss, but definitely a hard matchup.
I will say, I feel so stupid. I was like, oh, Leafy Camo Poncho, because they run Leafy Camo Poncho. It's like, oh, I can't guess that. Leafy Camo Poncho means you can't boss anything if the Leafy Camo Poncho is in the active, because that counts as switching that Pokemon out. And that is so scary. I hate that.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Is that how that ruling works?
I mean, it's how PTCGL did it. I'm pretty sure that's how that... Yeah, I went to like, I wanted to hit the Goodra before it got its 80 damage reduction. There's an arc with a Camo Poncho. And I'm like, boss it. And I'm like, no, the Camo Poncho is like, I'm switching.
Oh, that does make sense.
So that
effect would fizzle. Wow.
That's scary. That's really scary because that's kind of the thing with Future Box now is like I run the heavy boss count. So like, you can get that stuff off when you need it.
That's kind of tough.
I don't know what to do that. And also like what? Arc Vulpix, the Vulpix specifically, it's like that's scary for Zard to deal with. You need to tech in like
it's such a good card.
Yeah.
Vulpix is such a good card and nobody knows it. Right. I actually did get an opportunity when I played at Charlotte last year. Like I said, I played the Palkinteleon with the Vulpix, and I got to play against LDF.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, not even in bracket. Like I ran into him like on like the Friday, or like when people were just hanging out chilling. Got a photo with him. Super great dude.
Oh yeah.
And I was feeling bold, so I was like, hey, do you mind if I get a game in? Like, just because, like, I'd really like to play against you, and I don't know if I'll ever get this opportunity again. We played a game. We talked shop about, like, video editing and, like, stuff like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Super cool, dude. And, of course, he was rocking the Eternatus VMAX. And while...
I would have loved to play
while I absolutely got smoked, it was so cool playing that. And he saw the Vulpix and he's like, that's a cool card. I like that.
Yeah.
Because, and we talked about it, is like, yeah, like the route against Mew, Drapion, and then Vulpix V-Star's, like V-Star power.
Yeah.
And then, like, against every other meta deck at the time, which was Lugia, really, it was like, Arc Vulpix can wall stuff off. Like, it's tough to get around, especially with Escape Rope leaving. With Escape Rope leaving, and you not being able to boss because of Leafy Camo Poncho, like,
I'm assuming that ruling's correct.
I think I'm gonna assume that's correct as well because that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, that's it's pretty crazy. It's yeah, it's just such a good card, and being able to shred on top of that, like people who when you look at the Ogre Pawns now. Like, see, the fighting type one is obviously the best one. And you know why? Yeah. It's got shred and an ability that prevents it from being attacked by abilities.
The fact that that's just built in, too, right? Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, and like, Vulpix already has those effects.
Yeah.
It's slightly bigger.
It's just slightly bigger.
And
at least they have to attack, okay?
True.
I will say. Ogre Pawn having that as just an ability, and it's a, like... That's so scary. Just it's a basic EX.
Yeah.
Too. It's just
put her
interplay.
down.
No, you can't attack me. That's scary.
Yeah.
At least the attack isn't like broken or anything.
Right. But yeah,
That'd be scary.
Vulpix's a good card.
Vulpix's a good card. I would
Gudra,
love.
but good card.
Gudra also a good card. 80 damage reduction. That's like I haven't played a lot against it.
Mhm.
Like thinking of like the good decks, like what do I do against that as Zard if like I can't gust and stuff? Like what does Zard do against our Gudra Vulpix?
Fold.
Like literally. I don't and Zard's gonna be like a tier 1 deck, obviously. It's
Absolutely.
just so good. What do I do? I just fold. Like I just want to see, honestly, it's been coming into the game like, late G block, actually. I didn't get to see a lot of the cool stuff. Granted, I also didn't get to see Lugia, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I've seen like an Arceus deck do really well in my time, and that's so lame because Arceus is so good.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
Arceus,
happy Arceus.
it makes
is
me
gonna be
so
good.
sad that you have never seen Arceus Duraludon.
No. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Arceus Duraludon with the 1/1 Vulpix went bananas back in the day.
I gotta take your word for it.
So
Like,
sick.
I just like double computer search on an ability.
Yeah.
Is like somebody put it's nuts.
Go get 2 cards.
It's nuts. And I'm so happy that Max Belt makes it like actually be able to hit stuff for relevant numbers now.
Yeah.
And so like it's not just going to be support. I'm just happy if Arceus does well. Not entirely though, because I want to run like Arctina.
Yeah.
And
There's
I
also
don't want to
been-
shell out the money for a 4/4.
There's been some interesting lists that play an Aerodactyl heavy Arceus deck.
Aerodactyl V-Star?
Yeah. And I look at that and I'm like, that looks, I can't say
It's-
bad,
Yeah.
but definitely not what I would expect. I would really be
doesn't-
excited to see something like that happen and do well.
Aren't you running the Arceus generally because like you need a lot of energy on your Vs?
Right.
Does
But
Aerodactyl
you
need that?
only ever use, oh yeah, you need 3 energy for Aerodactyl.
Nah, fair.
And
Not the V-Star, I guess, but
no, for the attack.
the V.
Well, it uses the hold on. It uses Relicanth actually.
Really?
Yeah. So let me
That's another card I'm really happy about. I love that. I love that effect, being able to use old
yeah, it's super
old
sick.
evolution attacks.
So Aerodactyl V has an attack. That's not the correct language. Has an attack where for 1 fighting and 2 colorless, you do 120 and you discard an energy from your opponent's active.
Okay, that's
pretty
wait, what,
good.
120 you said?
120. That's really great
That's
in
not
the
bad.
Arc Mirror. It's really
good
great.
against Zard.
It's really good. It's great against Future. It's great against Ancient.
Yeah, that sucks. That
Um,
does kind of hurt Zard too, I don't know if they're still going to be running like such the tight energy count that most lists do right now.
I think they'll have to expand.
Yeah, like there's stuff that makes that hard, I think. It's like 6 fire energy is so tight.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, and if they start playing more than that, I'm excited for Hoopa to do well.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
One shot.
And then Aerodactyl V-Star being able to do 240, pretty good.
That's good. That's a big number.
It's a big number.
It's not Tina big numbers. But
No, but that's, Tina's a broken card.
that's true. I think Arctina with like the addition of Leaves and Max Belt, even though it loses Path, is like
Still super good.
a scary deck. That's a scary.
People who don't
I don't
respect
wanna get judged every
Arctina
turn.
is should really pay attention.
I've put a lot of thought into how Future can deal with Arctina. I think it's a lot of Boulder, and like honestly, I've come to the conclusion. This could be wrong. This could in 2 hours from now, I'll be like, what was I thinking? That was stupid. This is how the future cooking goes. But it's like I think those matchups you rely on 2 hits with the Miraidon's like first attack just to get more energy on board, but also soften things up so you don't need to like. I don't think Future right now needs a crazy 280 hitter. It might at some point, mostly because I think the off-meta stage 2 EXs are impossible for Future to deal with.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, I hit Zard for weakness. I don't know what to do against Incineroar. I think I lose. It's not a good deck most other times. You know what? It's too early for me to say that. It's probably not going to be that good of a deck.
Right.
But, like, I don't know what Future's going to do. I don't have a water-type Future that's good. I have
You're going to attack
Bundle.
with the bundle?
Yeah, let's go. I'll hit him for 120. You don't even know.
Woo!
Oh, wait, hold on. I got boosts in play. What do I hit? If all of my boosts are in play, that's 5 boosts, 160. I can one-shot an Incineroar. It has 320 HP.
No. No.
Tell me to get out of the kitchen.
Dude, yeah,
Kick me
please stay
out.
out of there. Please don't be in there.
It's so easy to get a 4 crown and a future boost off. You don't even know that's consistent.
It is pretty easy.
It's actually not. You always prize a crown, like 2 crowns.
Oh, JK.
Even with heavy, it's not easy. And then you would not imagine how much it sucks dedicating 4 bench spots to damage boosters. You don't get to play Mew that game, so if you get Iono, you lose.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Future box moment.
Yeah, indeed, for sure. So, dang. So, yeah, we've got a lot. Do you have anything that you think is gonna like be really bad other than what we've talked about?
Stuff that's just bad, or stuff that people think is gonna
that people
be good
think is gonna
bad?
be good that's bad, other than the future hands.
I don't think Future Hands is bad. I just think it's like impossible to live up to the hype.
Yeah,
that it's
I
been
agree.
getting. You know, it's a tough one out there. What else is there? What are the decks people are cooking that they think is
Chenpao?
Ancient? I think Chenpao is just consistently good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Chenpao good.
Chenpao cooks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ancient Box is probably another one that's like overhyped.
Yeah.
It's like solid, but it's like
it can be scary. It's one of those decks. It's honestly ironically, it's a lot like Mill, where it's like, oh, this deck, this doesn't do anything to me. I'm smoking this deck. And then you're like last prize card, and you're like, oh, I don't have an answer to this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, being a deck that is fully single prizers most of the time is tough.
Yeah.
Like,
single prizers that are hard to take 2 prizes off of with AMP very much.
140 on all your basics is really
and
good. It's
the
really
booster,
good.
Ancient booster, making you a 200 basic 1 prize Pokemon?
Listen, I've had like 1 game against Ancient Box where I like was able to go 2-2-2 with hands. And it's like, it's a struggle. You need 4 crown benched. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Booster is scary.
It's a scary card.
60 HP plus no special condition. Like, you forget about the no special conditions. The plus 60 is so good.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, for sure.
I don't know. I honestly think Tusk Mill might honestly get kind of consolidated into Future Box as an alternate win condition.
There's one-offs in most Ancient Boxes.
Yeah,
for that,
I kind of like it.
I
kind of like it.
I would like if Mill does well.
Me too.
I want that for Little Matt.
Stall. He deserves it.
He does.
He's also trying to do Ursaluna too.
Ursaluna's sick. I love Ursaluna.
Ursaluna's real
It's a
cool.
very difficult deck to pilot, though. I would be terrified to pilot it. Like,
I don't.
Oh, my head hurts thinking about it.
It's tough. Is there any deck I'm missing that I've just completely written?
Is there any Roaring Moon hype going in our next format?
It's a tech attacker in Ancient Box, I think.
Sure.
Just because like losing VIP and Moltres, that deck can't do anything.
Another sad loss to Elock.
It is.
Oh,
it is,
also the whole Rapid Strike suite. I'm sad to see go.
All of the strikes, every strike.
Even Fusion.
Oh, I meant they're all going.
Oh,
I didn't mean I'm gonna miss them.
Oh yeah, sure.
Look, there's a single strike Volcanion, so that's the only one that gets any of my sympathy.
I'm kind of sad single strike never really got to have a great impact.
It was okay in a Lugia build or two.
It was cool in Lugia.
But like, did anybody ever play Single Strike Urshifu? Like, I forget that card. It doesn't even need to be called Rapid Strike Urshifu. It just is the Urshifu.
Yeah.
Single Strike was bad.
Single Strike was bad.
Not a card.
Not very good. It was cool sometimes.
It was cool. It was. I saw somebody say this. I'm pretty sure it might have been you. Honestly, all the Pokemon stuff I hear blends into each other. But like, Future and Ancient feels like a much more refined way to do. Like the strike mechanics. Fusion Strike was like the best of the 3.
Yeah,
I think.
Of course.
But like, best not from like my favorite, but like from a game design perspective. Whereas like Ancients and Futures are getting a lot more like dedicated support in interesting ways.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I know they were trying to drill home that whole like, oh, a Single Strike hit big, Rapid Strike hit a lot, or like hit in different ways.
Yeah.
Where it does feel like, I do feel like Ancient Box. This is not to attest to the skill it takes to play it, but the energy it gives off. It's very Unga Bunga.
It is huge
like,
Unga Bunga.
I will hit with big numbers. When you kill me, I hit bigger.
Yeah, I get big.
Future Box is very precision plan ahead based.
Yeah.
I think it's it feels like they themed the cards to the mechanic in a way that I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I think that's cool.
I'm just waiting for the Yoga Loop reprint.
I'm not.
I'm still ready for it. Give
I'm not.
me the Iron Boulder. Give me like the one prize Iron Boulder that Yoga loops. Or like the
One prize Yoga Loop?
No,
Are you insane?
It's never happening. Give me like maybe it's the maybe they'll do like an Iron Jugulus EX.
Maybe.
That'd be sick.
It should.
I think Iron
extra
Jugs
turns.
needs some more love.
When I got back into the game, when I saw there was 2 cards in format that said "Take another turn," I was like, "What is this? Is this Yu-Gi-Oh? Like what? What is happening here? Is it what's that magic card that's like control your opponent next turn? Like
I've never heard of it.
It's stuff like I think it's called a Mind Slaver. I think it's straight up just like a card that's like you get to be your opponent next turn. It's a crazy card.
Wild.
But like I saw like Pokemon had like Dialga V-Star. It's like take another turn. I'm like, what the heck? But like I like it on Dialga V-Star because it's your V-Star power and it's 5 energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like you need to work to get that off. Yoga Loop is so stupid.
You had to work a lot to get it though.
You Iron Valiant a Pidgey twice.
I never used Iron Valiant for that crap.
Okay, that's where it was good though. In Rapid Strike, I respect it more. But like in Iron Valiant,
it was goofy in Iron Valiant for sure. I will definitely say that.
Take an extra turn.
And it wasn't once a game. It was just
whenever there was something with 20 HP left.
That's what
at least Jirachi blocked it.
True. Unless it was to the active. So sick.
It's interesting. I'll give you that.
Yeah, absolutely. What else is maybe going to be anything next format? Have we droned on about this too long?
I don't know.
I can't even tell.
I like talking about this stuff.
It's cool to think about because also like I'm looking at Limitless right now and I'm looking at the most popular decks. Number 2, believe it or not, still Gardevoir.
Like going into rotation?
No, not going into rotation, but like just in general, right now.
I think I saw the deck with the highest representation at Vancouver Day 2 was Gardevoir. Actually, it's just like it's I don't know what to say about. It's just a good deck.
It's a great deck.
It's just it's a real good deck that I think a lot of people are always like, nah, it's good, but like it's real good. Like it won Knoxville, right? Like I forgot about that. Like that's crazy. That like this deck, when I was starting to get back in, it was very much like, it's Charizard's the way to play. Yeah. Charizard's so much better. Guardy was just kind of an afterthought. And then like in the past couple months, people are like, no, this deck is still cracked. This is still a tier 1 deck.
Still very good.
Like it's nuts. I like playing it. I like draw card.
Yeah, we like that.
We do like drawing cards.
We like to draw cards. Whoa, I'm on Limitless right now. There is nothing that will prepare you for what the number 25 slot is.
On most played decks?
Yeah.
Cloth is higher, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cloth is
25.
Higher.
Tell me what 24 is.
24 is Clairvoyant Sense Xatu.
Oh, I guess there is a psychic box. What's 26?
I don't have 26. It goes down to 25.
Is bottom?
25 is bottom.
Ooh,
I'll give you the 3 that are tied for 20th place are Dialga, Goodra, and Bayonet.
Lost Zone Goodra?
Just says Hisuian Goodra.
Bayonet. 25 is... I genuinely can't think of like what the 25th most played deck would be. I'm gonna try. Hold on. It's gonna be Single Strike Lugia.
It is classified on Limitless as Spring Bloom Cherim.
Oh my god, I did see there's like a Regidrago list.
There is.
That uses that. I recall this
very
because
strange.
Azul played it on a dude stream where it's like he only plays off meta decks that his viewers submit.
Yeah.
And there was like discourse over whether that counted as an off meta deck.
Absolutely.
Just because it like has a Limitless page.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, people are also submitting stuff like I don't know, there's like Dondozo decks in that stream. So like
Dondozo bad deck.
Spring Bloom Cherim's the Rain Dance, like on non-roll boxes, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
As often as you like, one grass to one of your Pokemon that does not have a rule box. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good card.
I agree.
If grass was better.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. If grass was better.
Right. Iron Leaves don't need that. We're at 2 hours talking
Are we
about
really?
Pokemon. We are at 2 hours, yeah.
That is super strange because my recording says 1 hour and 21 minutes.
Never mind, you're right. I'm bad at time.
Oh, I guess because we started late and then had to restart the recording.
You're the right one.
Sometimes.
That makes more sense. My sense of time is wrong.
It's okay. So I think we've really discussed everything. Is there anything you want to talk about with like Twilight Masquerade coming up, or do we just want to like not look too far into the future and just see what's coming immediately next?
What's the other set that makes up Twilight Masquerade? Crimson Haze and was Mask of Change?
Yes.
Is that the one? We don't have a lot of Mask of Change yet, right?
No.
I'm hoping it's more interesting.
I hope so.
Twilight Masquerade.
I mean, it'll be
Twilight
like the Ogre Pawns, the Goofy 3.
Twilight Masquerade so far is, I'll be honest, it's like the Greninja's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I like Greninjas. I'll probably try to play it. Go back to my roots. I like Greninja.
Yeah, Greninja cool.
But like Greninja very cool. It's literally Rapid Striker Shifu, but on a stage 2. I don't think Boomerang Energy helps Lugia that much. So it's like, are there any good colorless discard attackers?
No. Not at all.
Like, is there anything that's gonna run Boomerang then?
Just Greninja.
But like, that's 2 attach. I guess you can afford the 2 attach.
Yeah, probably.
They should bring back Water Duplicates Frogadier and put that in Greninja.
Oh, the one that lets you just go get more Frogadier?
Yeah, Mirage Step.
Yeah.
Mirage Step Frogadier.
I think that'd be sick. Personally.
It wasn't enough to make Greninja Break consistent, so I don't even know.
Well, we also live in a very different time than Greninja Break. They didn't print Battle VIP Pass for Greninja Break era.
No, they didn't. They had Dive Ball.
Dive Ball not the same as Buddy Puffin, though.
Buddy Puffin pretty good.
Buddy Puffin pretty good. Buddy Puffin good card, believe it or not. This just in, Buddy Puffin good
people
card.
Are saying this. That's crazy. Go buy some.
Go buy a couple. It'll be worth it.
I think I have my 8.
I've got plenty. The fact that they came in the pre-release kits was so sick.
Like, imagine, I assume no Battle VIP came in the Fusion Strike pre-release kits, right? Because those cards were like $5 until like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It's like an uncommon. I'm glad. I don't know what Puffin is right now. I imagine it's less than $1.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Real nice. That's real nice.
Gotta be less than $1. In fact, I'm gonna look it up.
Neo Upper is already $2.
Neo Upper sucks.
It's bad, but it's an A spec still. Like, I thought it might be worth a little bit. I'm hoping it's not though. I want Prime Catcher to be $5.
Yeah.
Drain that price.
Buddy Puffin, the market price is $1.70.
That's a little high.
I think it's a little high.
Bring that down.
But
that was in pre-release kits. There was an average of 1 to like 1 point something in every pre-release kit.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll still come way down.
It's a good card. Hey, what is Crown right now? $12?
Iron Crown?
Yeah. Is it $10? I don't know.
The full art is 13.
Okay.
The regular is 10.
10? Yeah, that's gonna.
The illustration is 100.
Yeah. That's the number 1 card in the set right now. Actually,
that's wild.
I thought it would be like the Leaves. It's not the Leaves. The Leaves is half that.
Really?
Yeah, the Leaves is like 58 right now.
That is giga sad.
The Crown's 100.
Wild.
It's nuts. I think the Bolt's number 2. Which is crazy, because the Bolt is actually my least favorite of those 6.
That art is bananas. What are you talking about?
I think the Gouging Fire, Walking Wake are way better.
I haven't even seen it. I've only seen the Raging Bolt because I pulled it.
It's pretty. You pulled both those? You pulled the Raging Bolt and the Iron... I pulled 4 A-Specs.
Yeah, exactly.
I pulled 4 A-Specs for... I have my max belts. I got both of them.
Also, can we talk... I know this is so off topic, but can we talk about how terrible the naming convention is for future Pokemon?
It's really cringe.
It's very sad.
It does suck. Like, I've had to see them so much. And, like, the futures are objectively less cool than the ancients. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I love what the cards do.
I like some of the sleek designs. I honestly think Iron Leaves is a cool looking Pokemon.
Iron Leaves is cool. Boulder and Crown are kind of meh.
Yeah.
But like Bundle, I can't even remember that goober's name.
Delibird.
What's that? That's just Delibird.
Yeah.
That's just Delibird.
Fluttermane looks sick though.
Fluttermane's cool. I also like when they did weird stuff with the paradoxes.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't
making Raging Bolt this big ass giraffe.
Yeah,
with its
that's so cool.
Literally like the concept being like that it's so tall that its head is in the clouds, and that's what awesome. Like the mane is.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Iron Valiant, coolest feature by far. Gardevoir Gallade hybrid.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I like Iron
that's
Jugulus too.
Jugulus is pretty cool.
I'm an Iron Jugulus enjoyer.
You can defend Iron Jugulus. I respect that.
It's so sad. And they're all just Iron whatever.
Iron whatever. Miraidon's the only one that's not, and it's cool as hell. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means even. I think it's like serpent or something.
Maybe. It's just they literally just took both of them and put something ride on because you ride on it.
Oh, that's what it is. Never mind. That's lame. That's really bad. I hate that. I've completely changed my mind. It's so goofy to me. I haven't played the games yet. Don't you like get them right away?
Yeah.
Like the bikes.
You don't get to control them right away though.
That's a thing that they did like in Sword and Shield, which were not great games, I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, oh, you meet the legendary immediately. Like that was I will keep playing Gen 7 defense as long as I live. Just everybody got spoiled for it, so it was kind of lame. But like Lily's little guy just evolving into the box legendary.
It's
if
sick.
you didn't know that was gonna happen, that's so cool. Because like box legendaries don't evolve, legendaries don't evolve.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That guy does. That guy is awesome. It's so cool. I love Lunala. Lunala's sick.
Lunala's sick. I like Solgaleo too.
I hate Solgaleo's typing.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I can see that.
Why is it Steel Psychic? It's the sun. It should be fire.
It should be.
Is there a Steel Fire type? Steel Fire is cool as hell.
There's gotta be.
Gotta be a Steel Fire, right?
I think
there's some types that don't exist.
Heatran?
Maybe.
I don't know. Heatran, yeah, the only Steel Fire.
Okay, Heatran's kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie to you. Heatran is not my favorite Pokemon.
It's sad because it is really underperforming and really ugly.
He's kind of goofy, but...
He's kind of goofy. His Radiant's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, the Radiant's sick. I wish that got more play.
It's getting more play now that Armarouge is a thing.
Right. I know a guy who plays in the Asheville area with me. He plays like... It's like if Tord's Zardbox was actually, like, conceptually thought through, you know?
Yeah.
It's like... It uses Charizard. It runs the 151 Zard in addition to the Obsidian Flame Zard.
I like that Zard.
To, like, Punchback Zard. It runs Baby Armarouge.
Yep.
It runs Radiant Heatran. There's a play that he's done on me that is horrifying, right? It's crazy. Armarouge accelerates energy to the active, right? From like your bench or whatever.
Yeah.
So he'll be Magma Basing, he'll Obsidian Flame Zard energy on the board. If he's 2 prize down, you have a single prize in the active. He runs 2 Earthen Vessel. He'll Earthen Vessel for a lightning energy, bench hands, switch into it, fire off all the fire energy, lightning energy on the hands. It's nuts. It's so bad, but I love it so much.
That's gross.
You just don't prepare for it.
No.
You just don't prepare for that. It's like, oh, this is why is this Armarouge Zard
It's like the goobers who run
hands?
Thornton in Gardevoir for Iron Hands. Have you not seen that?
No.
It's the same thing. People load up an attacker with the energy you need.
Wait, hold on.
Put on a lightning, and then Thornton into Iron Hands with Gardevoir.
Gardevoir is running Earthen Vessel and Letter of Encouragement now instead of Fog Crystal. It might...
Is it
Don't
Jover?
give me ideas. You know better than to give me ideas.
True, yeah.
I'm gonna try this now.
You should.
I'm a Thornton enjoyer.
Thornton's such a sick card.
It's like Ninja Boy, because Ninja Boy was like a thing when I was playing. Ninja Boy's just, I think, an objectively better Thornton.
What's the difference?
But like, I'm pretty sure Ninja Boy, I think it was also basic for basic, but Ninja Boy was from deck.
Oh, that's cool.
Card. And so also that was in a meta you could play supporters Gen 1. So like,
that's pretty cool. That's Ditto.
That's
Ditto 151.
Cool. It's Ditto 151, but like, oh, it is literally Ditto 151, isn't it? But like,
Surprise.
It was cool. You could also do it other turns.
Yeah.
So it had that Ditto.
I think that's cool. But Ditto,
cool
the
cool
Thornton
card,
play is so stylish. I love Thornton. Any play that uses Thornton into leaves into hands, love it. Or leaves into Thornton into hands.
Leaves into Reboot Pod into leaves into Thornton into hands. There's a lot of you don't get that combo off often. You need so many pieces.
You
in your
do,
hand.
but when you do, it's catharsis.
It really is.
Awesome.
I'll do it on stream for you someday.
Please, yeah, absolutely.
I will never get on stream. I'm not that good, but you know, I will do everything in my power to make
I believe
that
in
happen.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think that's really kind of all we had planned to talk about. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up, mention at all?
What's the happenings? We got EOC to look for. We got Orlando. I know Orlando's a while out, but like, if you're going to Orlando, please go ride a Velocicoaster. I'm not paid to do promo for the theme parks in Orlando. But if you're a Pokemon player, I'm a Pokemon player and I love roller coasters. If you're going to Orlando, ride the roller coasters.
Ride the roller coasters.
Go to Universal Islands of Adventure. Best roller coaster in the world is at that park. It's like a 5-minute drive from the Orlando Convention Center. My goal in life is to get all the Pokemon players into roller coasters. So
Okay.
go do that if you're going to Orlando. That's my piece of advice to you.
It's a good piece of advice.
Thank you. I try. I many people say that I have the best advice in the world.
Who says that?
Nobody has ever said that.
That's what I thought.
Terribly untrue.
That's what I thought.
You say
me when I
all the
lie.
time. Yeah. I do that sometimes. It's fine.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course.
This has been a blast. I definitely look forward to having you back, and especially after the big Future Box dub
we'll see.
at EUIC.
Oh yeah, it's gonna win.
It's gonna win first place for sure.
Watch it actually win. I'm here just like joking.
I'd love that so much.
I'd be so happy. It has to, I feel like my appearance on this podcast was prophesized when you mentioned my cooking to Wancho, and I'm like, what?
Mandatory.
It's not that good.
You've been in the kitchen too long to not get credit, okay?
I should earn a Michelin star at this point.
I agree.
Honestly,
I agree.
I deserve it, honestly.
For sure.
Michelin star is about effort, not how good the food is, right?
Yeah, it's about how far you have to drive because it is the tire company.
Kind of, yeah.
It is the tire company. It's like, is it worth the drive or not?
Future Box
worth the drive for sure.
Give me at least one Michelin star.
I would agree.
I'm not asking for too much.
But yeah, thank you again for coming on the show. Where can the people at home find you? Or if you don't want to be found, that's okay too. They'll
find me at local leagues in Charlotte when I'm home for break.
Cool.
They'll see me there.
Any socials to find you on, or are you keeping that private?
I have an Instagram I can plug here. It's just pictures of roller coasters. This is what I do. I take pictures of roller coasters and I post them. You can find me at aprilb.40
Sweet.
On Instagram. I don't have any really Pokemon presence online. You just gotta beat me in real life first. Come up to Tokyo Toy Box in Hendersonville, North Carolina. It's kind of the middle of nowhere, but it's a good store. I'll rep that store. Sponsor me, please. You're awesome. There we go. You have a great selection.
Nice. Sweet.
I'm using this time to plug.
Yeah, no, that's what this time is for. Plug whatever you want. But yeah, thank you again so much. And to those watching at home, make sure visit all of April's one link and be sure.
Everyone.
Be sure.
If you request to follow me, I probably won't accept you, but you can look anyways.
And also be sure to come back and comment on this video when FutureBox wins EUIC that April was right.
Place your bets. If FutureBox wins, anybody watching this video owes me $7.
True.
That is a contract you as the viewer sign by clicking on this video.
It's so true.
Just find out now.
But yeah, also while you're down there, leave a like, comment, subscribe. When we inevitably get this up on Spotify, please do also leave a kind review there. But in the meantime, that's really all we've got for you today. Thanks so much and have a good one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Still stopping. It's taking a while to stop.
It's taking its time.
Yeah, sure is. That did not feel like an hour and a half.
It did not. On my end, it said 2
something
hours.
went wrong stopping. Please reload and try again. What does that mean?
It's not. Listen. What is it saying on my end? Can I stop it on my end? Yeah. That would be a real bummer. What does this do here? What does this button do? Yeah, we can hope. We can hope. That's fine. Hello? I am still in here. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, it's a reality we have to be prepared for.
I've never had any of these problems.
I'm just coursed. Huh? Okay. Is there a way to check? Mine has been at 99% uploading the whole call, which is like, does my end need to do something?
No.
Okay, but mine was saying that while we were doing the call too, like during the recording. Okay, that's normal. That's fine. Because, yeah, it's still telling me it's recording on my end, though. Yeah. It's telling me it's been going for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Can I tell it to stop that? It says, oh yeah, it says I'm recording, but you're not. So, like, how do I tell it to stop doing that? Where would that button normally be? The button that says leave.
I mean, it would do it, but you'd have to go back.
Yeah, we'll try it. Bye.